Well, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to VSG number 141. We're going to start today with a little post-mortem. Ryan, this one's for you. My Colorado Avalanche got beat by the Kraken in 7 games. Hats off to you. They played good hockey. Now I hope you get your butts kicked by whoever you're playing next. So with that said, let's talk about it. Let's move on.
Wow. I sensed a little depression in your voice there.
Yeah, it was pretty sad, man. I'll be honest with you. But, it is what it is. More time for golf now.
I like it.
I like that you just dove right into it, man. Like, let's just.
I thought you were going to come at Ryan a little harder.
Well, I mean, how do you come at somebody when they just beat my team? So, I got to give respect.
Yeah, you're not really the lovable loser, I guess. All right, here we go. Turn your audio on. We got a little camp memory, and we'll be right back.
I look real good today. 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 I look real good today.
I know you had a 4-letter word when that hit happened. Admit it, Salam.
It's not a stretch for him to admit that he had a 4-letter word loaded up. I mean, it's gosh, this alone.
Come on, Salam, admit it. That's what you were thinking.
I'm not quite sure what that was about, but
your face, you look like you lost your puppy. You look like something's happened. I mean, I know it was broken up because we zoomed in on and we lost the resolution, but you got a little lost puppy face. What were the words that you said in that very?
I didn't say anything. I was just admiring the work of Mr. Britt Van Zandt. That's all I was doing. That's literally all I was doing. My man worked to play fabulously. He caught that.
That's my favorite. My favorite play from camp for many reasons. But what is your puppy dog expression there at the very end? And it had to be accompanied with some certain language. Come on.
I don't understand what this narrative is anyway. I'm an excitable person. I'm passionate about what I do, but I don't the narrative, the false narrative that I'm just throwing around 4-letter and 5-letter words is ridiculous.
Oh well, sometimes you hit and sometimes you miss.
Yeah, that was a miss.
No. You in general kind of missed on that play, but that's okay. We're good. Everybody ready to roll?
Yeah, let's go, man.
Oh, all right. Where are we at? Oh, we're going back to the Pac-12, Corey. Is it feeling like home yet, or is it still not quite?
Yeah, I mean, I've had one assignment, so I guess I don't know. It's just working football.
All right, here we go. The poll is up. Don't pay any attention to the play number. There was a last minute production meeting that required a little renumbering. It's okay. This is play 1. The poll says play 5. That's okay. Which statement is true? All right. Which statement is true here? Play at the pylon, play at the goal line. The runner contacting the pylon makes this a touchdown. Is that the true statement? That's A. B, it says it doesn't matter if the ball breaks the plane of the goal line in order for this to be a touchdown. All right. Is that a true statement? You could argue A and B are pretty similar. The loop didn't work. Great. C says a touchdown result if the ball passes outside, over, or inside the pylon before the runner touches the pylon. It's a lot of words. And D says a touchdown would result only if the ball passes inside or over the pylon before the runner touches the pylon.
This is confusing.
Yeah, it is
I know.
confusing.
I know it is. You're watching the play, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. You had a few of these?
I have had one of these, but the play, believe it or not, in like 9 years, I only had one like really, really tight pylon play. The runner was airborne. I was at Kansas State. You were there, Brandon.
That's your only pylon play?
That's my only really tight pylon play.
Come on, Corey. How many? You've had like one a game. It seems like.
Yeah, I had one a couple weeks ago up in Boulder. Like they just seem to find me, but that's okay because I really enjoy them. So
Yeah, you nail them all the time, no, Corey.
well, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, you had one in Baylor that we highlighted with a little
Oh yeah.
audio effect. That was fun. Hey, I clicked the loop. Technicals aside, real quick. I clicked the loop video and it's not looping. Any ideas?
User error.
No, I said I clicked the loop video and it's not looping. So I'll just keep manually looping. So we're looking at this poll, and we are see there it goes. It didn't loop again, but never fear. I can overcome. You know, AI, the robots are not going to rule the world. I don't know where you guys are at on this, but I can sit here and press play myself and loop the video. I don't need it. I don't need AI. I don't know if that's AI. I don't know if looping is AI. It's got to be close. Where do you fall on that area, Salam?
I think looping the video, we need to leave it to computers, not people like you.
That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. All right, we're looking at what statement is true for play 5, which is play 1, which is.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest, and that's why we need robots as well, because they know how to properly number things. They don't screw things up like numbering.
It's not a screw up. It's just a clarification.
No, okay. I'm really scratching my head over this one. This is an interesting play, honestly.
There's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on.
So we need a few more votes, though. I think there's people coming in. You know how
I think there's people probably like me who are sitting here reading all 4 of the answers over and over, saying, "Where's the right answer?"
You got to make a call. This is a good poll because it bakes in what you see on the screen with a little bit of conceptualization. I'm tossing that one up for your reaction.
Yeah, I got nothing.
We need a few more votes. You know, people are fashionably late to the party. That's okay. We're getting them. Oh, there they are. There they are. We're good. All right, here we go. So this is a rule. This is a rules play. All right, this is a rules play. So that's why we're going to get to the rules experts here, which normally are none of us. Have you guys noticed that?
100%.
We are not the rules experts. 58% said a touchdown would result only if the ball passes inside or over the pylon before the runner touches the pylon. That's 58%. 25% said a touchdown would result if the ball passes outside, over, or inside the pylon before the runner touches the pylon. Because the runner does touch the pylon in this play. Now, 0% said it doesn't matter if the ball breaks the plane of the goal line in order for this to be a touchdown. So we're happy there. I think my understanding of the rules, the ball has to break the plane of the goal line somewhere for it to be a touchdown. So B was the wrong answer for all those scoring at home. And A, 17% said the runner contacting the pylon makes us a touchdown. The runner contacting the pylon, we can throw that one out because the runner contacting the pylon really doesn't make anything a touchdown. It's all about the football, isn't it?
Correct.
All right. So
all it does is make the ball dead, make the play over.
Oh, good. So the runner contacting the pylon makes the ball dead.
Yes.
All right. So now there's some keywords in C and D. I believe it's the word before. So if we're gonna say sequentially that the ball let's see. What does C say? A touchdown would result if the ball passes outside, over, or inside the pylon before the runner touches the pylon. Okay, so then D says a touchdown would result only if the ball passes inside or over the pylon before the runner touches the pylon. So those two answers, I guess, are asking us to evaluate the same rule, meaning the runner touched the pylon, but before he touched the pylon, the ball passes over, or passes through space in a certain way. Is the poll question becoming more clear or more confusing as I talk?
I'm gonna go with door number 2.
More confusing?
Absolutely.
So sequentially, the runner touches the pylon. If you just look at C and D, the runner touches the pylon after the ball has broken the plane of the goal line in some, what would I call that? In some area of space.
Yep.
The ball has broken the plane of the goal. Either in D, it's saying, what's D saying? A touchdown will result only if the ball. So D is basically telling us this can only be a touchdown if the ball passes over or inside.
Correct.
C gives us the option to say, no, it can be a touchdown if the ball passes outside the plane of the goal before the runner touches the goal line. I'm sorry, before the runner touches the pylon. That's really the only difference between C and D, I think.
It is.
Okay, so how do we get to the rule to make a selection here?
Well, for me, working pylon plays, I think for me to simplify it a little bit, I've always just considered that little orange pylon to have, it's a sideline with a vertical component. It's instead of 2D, it's a 3D sideline. And
Okay.
that's just kind of always helped me to remember what I'm dealing with there. That is the same as touching the sideline. It's just the sideline in the end zone. So there's a lot of things that we have to, for me, that helps me understand, okay, there is a sequence, when does the ball pass? Where does it pass? And when is there contact with the pylon? So I don't know if that helps get you to where you want to be.
Perfect. So here's what I think, and then I'll ask for more feedback, please. I think I'm on an island here. Here's what I think. I think you have to know the sequence, like you just said, of does the player touch the pylon first in this type of play, or does the ball break the plane first? Isn't that fundamental to understanding what is all available to you in terms of making a judgment?
Yes, yeah. I mean,
because
yes
when the
and no.
player here's the thing: when the player touches the pylon, the ball's dead, like Tuta said.
Correct.
Now, of course, like this play, that's only if he stays in bounds, and he did. Right? He was in bounds this whole time. So what killed the play, what created a dead ball is the player, that left elbow touching the pylon. So now to get a touchdown, all this poll simply asks in a confusing way
Right.
is to get a touchdown, where can the ball be?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is. It's a very simple question.
Well, really, the question is, does the runner get goal line extended on this play?
Oh,
That's really the crux of the question.
You're like a detective. I mean, you figured that out real quick.
Yeah, I'll let you stumble, Brandon. Then I just want to bring you back home. I'll let you get lost. And
so I love that you did that, because here's what I want to offer, and then I'll just let you guys talk about how to make this call. We can read goal line extended in the rule book, and I have no idea. I honestly read it once and I'm like, what? I don't know what that means. Here's my view on the world. I got to understand what happens in sequential order on the football field to get goal line extended. So he's got to get the ball beyond the plane of the goal line, really anywhere in this play. He can get the ball. He can extend the ball beyond the plane of the goal line, outside, over the top, inside, really anywhere on this play, as long as he does that before he touches the pylon. If he touches the pylon and he hasn't done that, then the ball's dead, and if it's short, right?
Yes. It's just like
Okay.
hitting a side. That's where my sideline analogy comes in.
I gotcha. Okay, see, and it's interesting how you think of it so much differently than me. I'm thinking of it sequentially, like this is a specific subset of a million types of plays, but this is a 1,000,000.1. versus 1,900,000, which is another play in my brain. It's how my brain works, by the way. And I'm thinking, okay, now that he's touched the pylon, how does he score? Well, he can, if he touches the pylon and he was in bounds, if he got the ball beyond the plane of the goal in any direction, it's a touchdown. So you're thinking now about the pylon as an extension of the sideline, and I would love to learn more about that.
It just helps simplify it for me that it's no different than if we have a runner stepping out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Where is the ball in relation to that when he does step out of bounds? Is it in his, is it in his left hand? Is he pushing it forward? And that's where the ball is when that runner steps out of bounds. It's the same thing to me with the pylon. So if that runner does touch the pylon and he's coming from inbounds, obviously, where is that ball at the moment that player touches the pylon? And if it's beyond the goal line, whether it's in the field of play or out of bounds, we're going to have enough for a touchdown.
Perfect
Awesome.
explanation to me.
There it is. So here, I knew somebody was going to talk about goal line extended. I knew I was going to bumble my way through my explanation, but what I wanted to do is bring it back and just basically I've tossed one up for you, Corey, and knock it out of the park. Since the Avalanche couldn't get that one-timer at the end of the game, I thought I'd give you the chance to.
Hey, the ref screwed up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
It was the refs for sure. I watched the game.
The refs are cheaters, man. Refs cheat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I tried to watch the game because I knew you were there and it was game 7, so I thought it'd be cool. And I just feel like there's we already talked about. I feel like there's just a lot of lacking.
Yeah, we just you're just not a hockey person, and that's fine. But
that's
man,
definitely true.
The atmosphere in a game 7 in arena is
I could.
So
you could feel it.
We just can't win one. So it's been 22 years since they won a game 7. So
yeah, but Corey, didn't y'all just win a championship a couple years ago?
We were the defending champions. That's what kind of stings that you go out.
You just never went to game 7.
Yeah, how do you say we just can't win one and you're a defending champ?
A game 7.
No, I'm saying we can't win. We didn't win a game 7. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And then you lose to an expansion team. That's just
Ouch.
Ooh, from Seattle.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan. All right, let's stick around on the pylon here for a second. No polls, but I wanted now this play. Let's watch it, and then let's go into what if world because this hasn't been confusing of a session already. Let's go into what if world. So we clearly see we got slow motion. Slow motion doesn't help us with the time element in terms of that judgment, but it does when this player like here makes an obvious and overt reach for the goal line. DY, you're with me that, I mean, this reach, just putting all the elements of the process of the catch, this reach clearly ends the process of the catch.
Oh yeah.
Such that if the ball came out before it hit the pylon, which is kind of what we're going to talk about, if the ball came out before it hit the pylon, it would still be a catch and then a fumble.
Yeah,
I believe. With
absolutely.
This timing. Okay, let me just think about this play. We can talk about I know everybody's talking about the mechanics of the line. Scrimmage official, I'm sure that official would be happy to know that we're talking about that. So if anybody wants to opine on that, it'd be great. I just want to talk conceptually about this concept. Can I say that? I just did. Okay. DY, put the timing of this play a little different, a little more compressed. So I should probably screen share, but I'm not going to attempt the tech wizards here. This is a sparkling HD video. Okay. Instead of go with me for a second, if you will, instead of upright, stick the ball and then turn and then overtly reach. Instead of that, just shrink that time down so it's more of all like one motion. Does anything change? Is what I'm wondering here, because we can see at the end of this play the ball is out. The ball's out on the ground, and I mean, you've got a loose football out of bounds. Clearly, a loose football out of bounds. So my question is to start with, if this is a little more time compressed, meaning there wasn't as much time between the time he stuck the pass to the time he reached, because I think there's such a sufficient amount of time there in what we see where he turns and then overtly reaches. There's really no question that this is a catch to me at all. Period. End of sentence. This isn't a receiver going to the ground. That process is over. But is there anywhere where if we compress that time down, we do have an issue about, control converting to time when he reaches? Does my question make sense?
Yes. And sure. The answer is yes. Also to the question that also makes sense. So what we're going to have to determine if all of this happens really, really fast, and as he sticks the catch, now he's going to the ground, and then the hands come out towards the pylon almost not, I mean, it can't be simultaneous, right? But like in really quick sequential order. What we're going to have to decide is, does him reaching for the goal line, is that something he's doing, something else he's doing apart from whatever his arms had to do just to catch the football? Does that make sense? So if we stick the ball and we just kind of turn and our hands get out here towards the pylon, and the ruling officials watching that and just feeling like that's all just a part of this process of trying to catch it, and the ball hits the ground, well, in that case, we would say we have an incomplete pass. But if that same thing happens and we rule that, you know what, that reach is intentional and it's separate from that part about when he stuck or gained firm control of the catch, well, then we have a second act by a player who's going to the ground to complete the catch. And when we perform that second act, which is what you kind of led with, the process of the catch is over with. And we're going to be in the same scenario we're in right now, which is going to be catch, fumble. But there's going to be times, and we've seen those plays, right, where we have to decide, man, is he reaching for something, or is that just like kind of natural body inertia that just keeps going? But we need to keep in mind that this pylon is really, really helpful for us in that scenario, because guys reach for pylons because they know if they get to the pylon, they got a shot at getting a touchdown. So we want to use that piece of kind of contextual environment to help us get to the right place.
But Daniel, he does have to exhibit firm control at some point in time before the reach.
Yeah, your reach is meaningless if you don't have firm control.
Right.
Because the process hasn't started.
Exactly. And I think that's the point we got to drive home. I don't care how quick the reach is after the firm control or how long after the firm control. You can't reach unless you have firm control and consider that part of completing the process of the catch.
That's a great point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, because you could picture a player, again, with the time compressed here, which you just said you don't care about, which I understand why you're saying that. But you could picture a player almost like shuttling a loose ball toward the pylon, but never really having control of it, right? That's kind of what I'm picturing.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm getting.
And then at the, after the pylon gets blown up or whatever we say, obviously the ball comes out kind of like it does here. And that's totally different from this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to understand the conceptually what the second act, the point of that is that the process of the catch is over. Well, gosh, you can't have the process of the catch ending before it even begins. So it doesn't, we can't start the reach if we haven't started the catch.
Right.
In terms of a second act.
Right.
Here, Corey, so like here, you're on the back pylon as the deep wing. And obviously, we have a bit of a mechanical breakdown from the line of scrimmage. We don't really, that's obvious for everybody to see, so we don't really need to, harp on that. But what is interesting is there anything, deep wing comes in and resets the pylon rather than communicate. I'm not trying to pick on the deep wing either, although I guess I kind of am. Is there anything you could do from your position back here, whether it's a question or would you even go that route, not to muddy waters, whatever? Is there anything you could do on this play?
I mean, I would just simply come up and talk to my line of scrimmage mate, say, I did not have that runner out of bounds, and he made contact with the football, with the pylon in firm control. What did you, and then kind of go, did you see something different than that? Because I think he's ruling this player out of bounds. But I would just bring the information that I have, and maybe that would help jog his recollection of it, or, I don't know. But I would definitely not just sit back there, because I think
Good.
while I'm looking at that deeper threat, you have enough time to transition off that to be some help.
Exactly. Great comment on the visual, transition and progression on this play from your position. That's just excellent. And then another point here is line of scrimmage. You catch yourself in this position, which is okay. I mean, it happened. It's not okay for what we want to achieve, but it happened on this play. So we got to work with it, and we kill the clock. We can glance out to our partner. Of course, the partner needs to kind of meet us halfway a little bit, but we kill the clock. That can buy us time. It's okay if we talk and then happen, based on that discussion, come away with touchdown. Like, do you guys agree with that? I mean, we kill the clock. We got a little bit out of position here. Maybe we get a secondary input from the field judge or side judge or whoever that is. Just because we killed the clock, we can come out of that conversation with a touchdown, right?
I believe we can.
Absolutely. Even after he spotted the ball, we can still come out with a touchdown.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We had the same conversation in Boise last year.
That's right.
We did. Exactly.
We can signal it incomplete and come out with a touchdown.
Another great camp memory. I believe there was somebody on the panel that offended the whole camp, but I'm not. We'll just keep moving on. So, okay, good. So just think about this. So, a lot of times we talk about, wow, man, it doesn't look great if we do this and we do that. I know, but we're still just trying to get the call right. So you're going so far as to say after you spot the ball and,
Absolutely.
Move the chains and pour a cup of coffee, you're going to come back and call it. Yeah, whatever it takes to get the call right, that's the whole goal. So I just think it's important here to communicate. It's not as if this is not the side judge's call. I understand the headline judge is primarily, what am I trying to say? Mechanically primary because it's his goal line. But just like Corey said, you've got a good view of this. You have time to transition off your outside receiver who that's not even really a threat. I mean, the ball's in the air fast. You can read that. So this is a partnership call. And so if we have a partner that's struggling, let's get in there and help out with some feedback. At least
I want to give some grace to the headline judge. I'm gonna be honest. That play is coming directly to the pylon, and he may have gotten murdered had he been at the goal line and getting back to his goal line extended position.
Yeah, I'm good with
so
that.
I know he probably freaked out and was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, I know we want to be there, but golly, this is kind of tough.
What I appreciate about this is that he recognized, okay, I'm not in the optimal spot, but I'm going to motor down and try to get stable and do the best I can with the angle I have. So,
right.
Sometimes that's going to happen. That you can't get to be where you want to be optimally. But man, if we just and you guys have heard us talk about this ad nauseum, if we can just settle down, our visual acuity goes through the roof.
Yeah, right. Because the difference, that's a great point. What you're talking about, the difference would be if we could see an official scrambling like back toward that video guy or camera guy on the yellow.
Yeah, and like turning and running it, and just literally running for his life.
Right. A little karaoke. Remember that? You got a little crossover step going on. I was pretty good at that, by the way.
I'm sure you were.
I know you'll believe that. So we could see that, and that would give us no value at all. Right. We would just come away with no value at all. And then it basically takes that official out of the play. And now this is the side judge's call only, which, and it's a little bit comical as the side judge just comes up and resets the pylon. We might have bigger issues to talk about than where the pylon's at, but that's neither here nor there. It's kind of just a funny thing that I noticed on the play.
I think the good thing to me, though, is what Corey said.
Yeah.
Because for me, I know I struggle with how do you have a conversation with a crewmate? And I had a play last year at a pylon with a crewmate, and I really didn't know what to say. So to me, it's good to hear Corey, especially how good he communicates, and hear what he would say to that partner official, and hopefully that would help someone else out to hear. Okay, well, this is maybe how I could phrase this if I see this type of action again, and I'm in this situation that this deep wing is in.
I know you guys as referees, you practice your announcements, right, in front of a mirror, and all that kind of stuff. For us non-referees, I think there is value in you take yourself through these scenarios and kind of practice what you would say.
Wow.
Because then when it comes time, when
That's
your
so
heart
good.
racing, it
That's
makes
so
it
good.
easier.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
I never thought of that, Corey.
Yeah,
'cause,
dare
like, what would
I
I-
talk
what would you say in
about?
this
Dare I talk
situation?
about mental training and visualization at this point? No,
Right.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just really like I'm just
Oh yeah, let's
thinking
do it.
about that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Think about that. So, referees are notorious for being self-involved egomaniacs.
No,
And
not all
talking-
referees.
Talking
Correct.
about how much they practice their stuff. Isn't that true? What about line of scrimmage officials reporting difficult false start versus DOF? I mean, look at VSG 139. I believe we had a bunch of examples of those. So what about this play on a tough pylon play? Catch, no catch, a targeting. That's a great point. I mean, that's a great point. How do you communicate in the moment? Because are we all, and I think we do mostly, we all just kind of rely on ourselves to do it when it first happens. And guess what? The stakes are the stakes are the biggest when it first happens. Isn't that, if you were actually thinking about it from a strategic standpoint, you would never want to leave it up to, well, I'm sure we'll just nail it the first time it ever happens at the biggest moment possible of the game.
Right.
That's not a really smart approach. So I think Corey's spot on. That's interesting.
I like it. I'm gonna write
I
it
really
down.
like it.
Use
You
that
should
later.
write that down.
I'm gonna use it.
There's a lot of runway there, my friend. That's really, really good stuff. What are we going to do next? Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, I know what my goal was tonight is to make somebody mad. All right. So here we go.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to, I think we know the rule by now. I think we know the rule. So left wing back, right? He can't do that, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Because, I mean,
Okay.
especially when he's off the tight end.
Okay. Well, hang on. We might need to audit that. There is a tight end there. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're saying.
not
So that's
the tackle
clearly a
box.
foul. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not as if he's getting a piece of the tackle. He's getting a piece of the tight end. Okay.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay. Very good. Clear and obvious foul. I think everybody would agree that's a foul with the rules as written now. So we get one flag on this play from the back judge.
Right.
So, I don't know, like, what you guys would propose. This is a play we'd look at next week in pregame, don't you think? Because, I mean, this play might expose a little bit of visual mechanical risk on the crew. If it takes the back judge to call this, which we love our back judges. I mean, we love them. But if it takes the back judge to call this, I don't even know whose quote unquote key this is. But I don't care whose key this is. There's no way the back judge should be the only flag. That's my position on this. But I want to know if you guys agree, and then what we would kind of discuss in the crew meeting the following week.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
I would want to know, if I was a deep wing, why the heck I didn't have a flag on this. I mean, that is not only my primary key, but it's also my primary area of responsibility on a play like this.
Somebody get GG.
It's not GG. I'm just going to tell you right now. That problem has been solved. Not the way you're not the way you're thinking.
Oh my gosh.
But like, you must have constant barking in your house, because whenever you talk, there's constant barking in the background.
GG.
I'm going to get a sounder.
She is yet to ever visit Casa de Young.
Are you so are you like, did you change this topic because you're just kind of like feeling really good that the back judge called this and nobody else did or something?
I
Like,
do.
we-
No,
we-
I don't feel
we-
good about that. That doesn't make me feel
we
good.
have
I
we
love
need
that
to
the back
get we
judge
need
called
to. You do? Why?
feel- well, I don't know. Why not? Where else would why
I
would
don't
he
know.
not? Yeah. No. I mean, it could I think it's indicative of understanding these dual threats here, because
Okay.
it's easy. Like, we want to get second level blocks, and so that tight end kind of comes out pretty quick. But that double team with a tackle on 19, there's not a lot for us to worry about. I think we want to be aware when 16 gets to number 8 what that block is going to look like. But I love just what it communicates to me is that we kind of have soft vision here and we're just officiating an area.
What about pre-snap, Daniel, that it started as 2x2 and ended up with 2x1? Would that have caused our eyes to move to that side of the field?
Well, I'm not sure where we are in the game. So is the line?
I'm just telling you the way the rate at which that flag was slung by the back judge, which we all love.
It was a missile.
Like it was a missile. He was clearly starting here. Or like you said, he noticed that motion and then snapped over.
I mean, I don't know. Either
I want to give the guy credit.
Either we're down here on 47 because the line judge is at the bottom of the screen, or we're at the top on those twins. But let's
work it both ways. Let's just work it both ways. Talk about what you're talking about.
Yeah. So either way, as soon as this guy, especially the way he goes in motion, like back towards behind the backfield, as soon as he goes in motion, we're going to come over here, and we should be here on 16 and 8 pre-snap before the ball snaps. So right now we should get over there.
Yes, that was my point.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, I mean, regardless, so that guy in motion is meaningless to us, right?
No.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Meaningless to who?
Everybody.
No, it sets your eyes.
Pre-snap keys. Well, yeah, no, it changes.
But
I'm saying we don't need to watch him.
No. Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, no. Okay. He absolutely impacts. Yeah, he absolutely impacts initial keys for sure. I mean,
unless you line of scrimmage at the top, you will be staring at him.
Right.
What?
That was for you, Brandon. That was for you, Brandon. To cue you up.
Easy.
Oh my gosh.
You're easy. It's really easy to get you
these days.
Well, that first poll was for you because I knew I'd flummox you on that first poll. Yeah. Okay. I got you. I got what you're saying. So you're just being that kind of a person. I like it. Well, here's the thing, DY. If I'm late as a back judge, okay, line judge at the bottom.
Just stop right there. Stop right there with that late stuff. You can't be late to get over there with your eyes. You can't.
But here's my thing. Just let me make my point. And I realize what you're saying, and I totally agree with you, obviously. But if the back judge starts on 47 and for some reason or another doesn't recognize should have been over there, based on how we work this play, we miss this foul.
We're screwed. Yeah.
We miss this foul, and we can't miss this foul. Right? I do think this is
or the back judge just gets really locked in on that tight end coming to the second level, and he's been talking about getting blocks at the second level all season. No. And he just gets all that attention, and he doesn't see that. Same principle.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What if that's a suspect chop on that double team? I mean, I don't know. That's silly. Yeah, I guess. Or a DH. I don't know. Whatever. I just don't think that we should say, who needs to get this is the back judge. If we look at this play and we diagram this out, I don't think anybody's going to arrive at, I don't know if I can, I'm way off that. I don't think I can say from another position that I'm way off that. So let's break it down. What do you think about, don't make me go there first. No, we already heard from the deep wing angle, right? This is the most outside player. There's not a whole lot of traffic. I think this is, that's a question. I mean, do we want to be focused here from the deep wing, or are we more focused on the guy on the line?
The answer is yes.
You need to see everything. You need to see all that.
You're looking at both.
Perfect. Okay, so that's good. And Corey basically said that.
Yeah.
What about? Yeah. Don't make me talk about the.
Do it, Brandon. You've been waiting to do it the whole play.
I don't want to. What about the?
Waiting to do it for at least 15 minutes since you queued this play up.
I'm not going to do it. What about the center judge? So I know that the center judge we are advocating for the center judge to work inside out. However, look at this defensive alignment, and this is why it's so important to map these defenders, which I think you have subscribed to.
Right. I think
if not pioneered, but the guy on our side here, the defensive tackle's in the A gap.
Yep.
It's the umpire's guy.
Yep. I
get that we may initially watch that. Then we're going to we're gonna
Bounce to the double
quickly
team.
bounce to the double team. Do you
And then the
really
dude is on the ground by that time.
Really? Okay, that's my
Yeah.
question. I think it's a great discussion point. Do you really need to see this action with both eyes focused and in a vacuum to know it's a foul? That's my question.
It's
so obvious.
Like it is very obvious. But man, I would be so scared. You know what I would tell myself? I just missed a foul, and I've told myself that so many times.
No, say that
I
again.
missed a foul, but I'm not going to throw the flag because I didn't see it. But I know I missed a foul.
If you haven't told yourself, I just missed a foul, you have not worked enough football.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay, just being real. I mean, it's like, oh.
And you go write it on your card after this drive is over, and then you go look at it, and then you curse yourself out.
Yeah,
If you haven't heard that, you've never worked a single snap with 2 touchdowns this long.
All right, Daniel.
Well,
I'm just saying you like to say that. Oh, I just missed a huge takedown. We'll go back and look, and literally nothing happened.
A mosquito landed on the guy's helmet. So,
he got murdered.
Okay,
so funny.
However, I hear what you're saying on that. I hear because we've all done that. Right. However, do you really need to see where the leftmost outer shoelace flies as a result of this contact?
Yeah, you kind of don't. The dude almost flipped over. The dude almost did a whole flip. So
I don't think you need to see. It's not like the right hand grabbed the armpit and then pulled at the precise time the runner ran.
No, he chopped.
This is just a low block. Yeah. This is a low block. So, if we just study this stuff, it's not like we need to be laser focused in a vacuum to know this is a foul. Now, I'm not saying we're guessing.
Well,
we're not guessing.
Right. No, and that's a really good point. But let me say something else. Maybe from the deep wing and or short wing perspective, we're just a little bit lazy pre-snap visually, and we're thinking, oh, he's in the tackle box, and then you see the block, and now you have to make a judgment. Was that in the tackle box?
Maybe somebody else will know.
And you just decide not to throw because you're unsure about that piece, and that's not really okay either, right? Yeah, we need to know that he's offset to a tight end.
Correct.
So that when we see that block, it's a no-brainer. That's why you don't have to see all of the detail, right? Like you don't have to get out your protractor and see where it is in relationship to the line of scrimmage.
Oh my God!
You just know where he was lined up, and he can't go low.
Formation recognition is really important, and I think that's what you were saying, Daniel. We got to recognize formations because that helps us understand where we're looking. If we don't know what formation is, how in the world do we pick out our initial key? So I think that's really important. But back to the center judge, that is honestly, Brandon, on this particular play, that's the third block that we will be working. And if we're not adept at really switching our vision, then we are at risk of missing that. We could practice on switching really quickly because we should be off the number one block quick.
Hey, go with me here for a second. I got a question because I want to debate you on that for a second.
Okay.
You know he's out. You know he can't do that.
Correct.
From the center judge position.
Correct.
You said third block. So the A gap dude.
I would watch him as soon as the ball is snapped, and then my eyes would
bounce double team.
Bounce to the double team because the run ends up coming.
I want to challenge us to get this from the center judge position.
Sure. No, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But we have to work really hard to switch our vision really quickly.
Exactly.
Because we got to get off the double team block as soon as we get on it because it's two dudes driving another dude, and they're clearly both in great position. So we have to immediately get off of that.
They're up. There's no like climbing. I mean, there's nothing. Not that. I mean, we got umpires back there. I don't know how much we have to get that A gap guy. I don't know. I guess there's two A gap guys in a way. That guy's really kind of almost head up on the center. I want to get this from the center judge position for sure. I just think, and maybe I'm getting influenced by some other things, but I do think that I don't know how much we need to offer into that A gap right away.
Okay. I can hear that.
Now, if here's the other way that this could present is that if that defensive tackle is in more of the B gap, well, then we're going to have a lot of things going on. But I do feel like then don't know if they're going to have 3 defenders lined up like that, B, C, and then whatever this guy is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know football very well. So
I personally like to start
I know
in the middle and then bounce out.
I got it. But
because that block
Yeah,
really could
and
have
then-
been integral. That center block.
I'm playing
could
the
have been-
result.
Yeah.
I'm playing the result.
But
'Cause
then at the
this
same
doesn't
time,
happen very often.
No, it doesn't. And then what I really would like for you to do is discuss with the line of scrimmage officials. Looking at. That's really what I would like to do.
Okay. Hang on. So I would like everybody to, how if you're like, so I'm kind of a podcast guy. That might surprise you, by the way, but I'm kind of a podcast guy. So there's podcasts that have parental advisory stickers on them. And
Still?
then
That's way back from the
yeah,
80s.
yeah, exactly.
Wasn't that Nancy Reagan? Nancy Reagan did that, I think.
Okay. I was thinking more like what you'd buy a CD.
Yeah,
back
parental
in the day.
advisory, explicit lyrics.
Explicit lyrics. Okay. And then some of the hosts of podcasts do a really good job of saying, hey, if you're in the car with your kids, tell them to put earmuffs on or something.
Earmuffs.
Or like earmuffs or just come back and listen to this part later. So line of scrimmage officials might want to come back and listen to this part later or not. Just go away. There is absolutely nothing else in if you're officiating football that you should at all be watching on this play, right? I mean, this is a run play. So this is a run play, and we know that the ball is important, but this is an outside in block. This is exactly what we have to support from the outside in on a run play from the line of scrimmage position. So we can talk about the center judge, getting out here, making 3 visual transitions, but this is 1 visual transition for the line of
zero.
scrimmage.
Actually, it's 0 visual transition.
Well, we know that the pre-snap is complicated from the line of scrimmage. We fully support and understand that
not without
because that's
movement.
very important. But this is legal snap. Legal snap. This is where we're at. We're right here. And you don't even have to really even be watching this guy. You're just right here in this zone on a run play.
All right.
And we got to call this. We got to call this from the line of scrimmage. I mean, if we know the rules, we got to call this. Absolutely, absolutely 100%. And if we know the rules and we don't call this, then it's just purely our mechanics are shot and we got to get better, right? So
What
this
if I
is just
wasn't
a great
sure
play.
that he started at the waist and slid down?
Okay. My goal was to get you mad on the play. You're trying to get me mad. Yeah, so he obviously goes low and there's forcible contact below the waist. I don't know. If you want to say his shoulder pad hit his belt, then that's really not a good way to evaluate these types of plays.
No, man.
Which
I
we-
mean, call it
which
what it
we-
is.
which
It
we
is what it
covered.
is. The dude got murdered below the waist, period.
Yeah. And I don't, as of now, this is a foul, correct? I mean, so this is clearly a
What do you
foul.
mean, as of
It's-
now? Do you know something that's about to change?
No, just thinking about back in the day.
Oh,
But we know that the rules have
those
evolved to
rules are
where this is
complicated.
definitely a foul.
yeah. This is foul all day.
Oh,
long.
so speaking of back in the day, you want to take a walk down memory lane. Would you consider this an illegal crackback block back
No.
in the day or
No.
north-south?
This is north-south, in my opinion.
Agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. But it has an element of illegal crackback because he goes kind of inside, but he really doesn't.
Yeah,
go
but then his
inside.
block is directed outside.
It's an optical illusion.
It is.
We used to fight that all the time.
We did.
You don't have to do that anymore.
No, it's
Lucky
so
you.
simple now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So run game, visual mechanics, line of scrimmage, help us out, outside in. You got to run play. The spot is probably going to be there at the end of the play. Do you agree with that? I think that's probably a safe assumption. Work a block on the outside. This is your chance right here to help out. I like the center judge getting this. This is one where definitely the deep wing should have a flag as well because you've
Absolutely.
got that whole play in front of you. The only guy that called this was the back judge.
Yeah. I've seen Daniel throw a me 5 flag, so he definitely would have been if this play was worked correctly, the back judge would have thrown a me 3 flag. So that's what I think we would have liked to see here.
This play sets up where you should have 3, if not 4 flags.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
So the point here is what? What's the point? Look,
You
We're going to
love
work
line
the
of
play.
scrimmage officials.
I do
that's
love
what the point is.
that's a great point. We're going to work plays. Somebody's going to throw a flag, and guess what? It's going to get graded correct.
Correct. And then we can
It's
move
good.
on.
And we're just going to say, great call. Well, this play leaves a lot more to discuss and break down and just realize if these are our mechanics that the back judge had to call this, we're at risk as a crew. We're just at risk. We're at complete risk. Not saying we're bad, not saying we're, we need to get demoted, we need to be suspended. I don't care about all that. But we are at risk. And that's I always thought about when I look at plays, either from a self-evaluation standpoint or from a crew evaluation standpoint, and I guess it's a negative kind of thought, but honestly, it's looking out towards improvement. I think we're at risk on that. And that's where you would want to bring stuff up. That's where you want to discuss things. So if this is our crew here, we're probably going to spend a half hour on this play like we just did tonight. Okay. You're not as fired up about it. I wanted to make you mad.
Well, it wouldn't take a half hour because everybody would own their position.
Well,
I would assume, and say, you know what, man, I really should have seen that.
I was way off that though.
I was way off.
Don't forget about. All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Damn, Corey's gonna get to work. This is a stadium I always wanted to work in.
We worked it.
Already been there.
I forgot y'all did 3
Oh
years
yeah,
ago.
you weren't on the crew.
I was not. That was when I was unceremoniously dumped. Me and 9 other officials for one person.
I understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right, check out. Here's the
Daniel
poll.
remembers that.
Don't worry about the play number. Remember we talked about that.
Robots.
Yeah, AI. So we are talking about the action involving, I believe, number 81 on the offense. Yep, exactly. And number 3 on the defense. Okay, so you're going to we do have a lot of great angles. It's early in the game. So we kind of
tight end up top.
Yep, tight end up top. So it's interesting because, it's early in the game. And do you ever find yourself hesitant to throw a flag early in the game, or are you more just thinking about your brain? Are you more about you want to get the flag out early in the game? Have you guys ever had that thought either way?
I try not to.
Yeah.
I oil my arm up before the game, so I'm ready to go.
You're ready to, yeah. You're a flag thrower, not like Daniel. So because that, like, when you're going into a certain matchup, I know this has nothing to do with the play. The poll's up, so figure out, the poll is simple. It's similar to the first poll. Is it holding by the offense, holding by the defense, holding by both, or no foul? We do have a tendency sometimes when we're going to certain games say, hey, let's establish this early. And I guess that's informed by our scouting. How do you guys feel about that? I'm just saying, like, this is probably like play 1 or 2 of the game from scrimmage. And, do you really want to put a flag on the ground? Do you care about that? Do you have any other thoughts? It's an interesting thought that we talk about, but then, nobody ever really talks about, you know what I mean?
Man, I really try to put each play in a vacuum. I try to a football game is just a series of independent events, and I try to not let one, impact the other, if that makes any sense.
I agree with Corey, and if anything, I would like to go into a game from a crew perspective, thinking that not that we're going to throw flags, but that we're going to manage the game and allow the players to play the game, especially if we have quote unquote big games. We don't want to come out and just immediately start slinging flags all over the place. I mean, that just proves that we don't know how to officiate versus that we do know how to officiate, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, here's what's funny is I've been in pregame meetings, perhaps even the coordinators involved, right? And we say, hey, let's just let them play. Let's not be over officious. And then we come out, and in the first 5 plays, we have 2 flags.
Right. Right.
But they're, sometimes they're false starts. You got to call them. Sometimes they're just clear and obvious holding fouls, whatever it is, whatever the case is. And it's like, oh boy, here we go. But you can't just ignore obvious fouls either.
Correct.
So sometimes when we say that, it's like, let's just let them play. Let the players decide it. Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to let the players decide it. But if the players decide to foul, that's kind of our role is to be there and rule on that. So I just think it's an interesting thing that we talk about a lot. And I don't know if anybody around here or around this profession likes to throw a flag at 14:33 to go in the first quarter, but sometimes you have to. So obviously we do have a flag here, but the poll is asking, what flag do we have? Because do we have holding? Do we have on the offense? Do we have holding on the defense? Is it both? Or no, we're not calling this. This continues our discussion, by the way, if I'm correct. I think we've talked about a few of these, and we had this in camp, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where we were talking about shed blocks versus holding versus, getting into routes, defending the route, defending the ball. Okay. So I love how all these plays on the surface are so simple, and when you get into it, it's not so simple.
Correct.
Sorry. Oh. Okay. DY had to step away for a little bit. That's cool. No, no worries. We just needed his opinion on this play. No, I'm kidding. I think we can handle it. I think we'll be okay. There's nobody bigger than the game, right? There's nobody big, especially him. Oh, man. I'm having way too much fun. Here we go. What do we have? So the poll results are pretty cool. 59% said, do not call anything. I don't have offensive holding. I don't have defensive holding. Okay. 41% said, I'm calling defensive holding. So here's the thing. Nobody called offensive holding. All right. Either of you, I mean, I don't know, Corey, like you could pretend this was your guy. Why do you not see offensive holding here? Or Tuta or whoever.
That was directed to me, yes?
Yeah, go for it.
I see at first that he just kind of posts him up, and I just don't see anything from the offensive perspective that shows me any indicators of hold. He's trying, I would say he's just trying to get on the route, because I think that would be a bold-faced lie. I think he's trying to sell some type of a run block, but then I don't see anything that, he's inside the frame. I don't see any type of, hook, anything like that. I've been trying to learn from you guys about holding in that regard.
Good.
But I just don't see anything from an offensive holding standpoint that really raises an eyebrow.
Cool. Let me throw something out for you, and I just want you to, look at this real quick. His left hand outside the shoulder. Look at the end zone view from behind the offense, and then the defense spins. Now you know what I'm doing. I'm being that kind of a person.
Yeah. Okay.
So from down deep, it would be hard to see that detail, but you could see the spin of the defense.
I would see the spin of the defense. And,
Yep.
But I thought that happened because of a different reason.
Got it.
Got it. But we'll get to that here in a second.
Okay. All right. So Tuta, anything from an offensive holding perspective that you need or want to add to that?
No, you hit the nail on the head. If we see anything from the offensive player, we see like pull and spin action. But I haven't thrown my flag yet, and I know you didn't ask for a flag to be thrown yet. I have not thrown my flag yet, but I do see a clear and obvious pull and spinning by the number 81's left hand.
Okay, cool. All right, so nobody went there though. Like nobody with us went there. Fine. Let's evaluate. Gosh, this is interesting. 41% said I'm calling defensive holding, and then 59% said nothing. Okay, good. So we understand why they didn't call off. No, we don't. Let's just talk about defensive holding. That's probably the best way to go. All right. 81's a receiver, right?
Yep.
Now, Corey, you alluded to it a little bit. But I mean, 81's a receiver. That's a receiver's number. So what do we got to see? And we talked about it, I think either last week or a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I don't remember. But within the last,
it was one of our camp plays
after Phoenix.
Yeah.
We talked about this. So what do we? Nobody said offensive holding, even though his left arm grabs and spins the guy. Maybe 41% said defensive holding. So what are we looking for on the defensive holding side of the world? That's an open-ended question to anybody.
Well, you're looking for 81 getting out into a route and then being restricted from doing so.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm just going to tell you, 81 kind of looks to me like he's blocking.
Yes, absolutely. And so what number 9 is doing here, I think it's number 9, he feels this flow all the way to his left, but his job here is to stay home on this bootleg. Promise this was scouted. So he's posting with both hands, or number 3, sorry, 81, thinking that he's trying to block him, and he's prepared to keep this depth or to keep this edge set if the quarterback tries to scramble or there's some kind of reverse. 81 is not presenting as a receiver who's trying to get out on a route, in my opinion.
Right.
Wow. That's
well,
really,
here's the other thing.
That's really
Daniel.
interesting.
When you say restrict, does he have to restrict by grabbing or doing something, or can he legally restrict by using his body to stay in front of 81 to prevent him?
He can absolutely. He can use an open palm, right, to jam him.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
And that's what I'm looking at from a defensive holding perspective. I see zero grab. I see no hook. I see none of those things that go before the and restrict to show me anything that the defender is doing that would cause me to think defensive holding at all. I just don't see anything.
Yeah. There's something weird there at the end, the way 81's trying to get off, but I don't know where that's coming from.
Right.
But even then, I think what number 3 is presented with gives him the right to grab 81 and shed that block. Yep. Even if we, were to if that's what we were seeing.
That's a great point. All right. So it's funny because I almost feel like both of these players can do what both of these players do based on what happens here.
Agreed.
Yeah, they both kind of go at each other. 81 clearly goes to block this guy. Look at that first initial action. He goes right into the center of his frame and goes to block him. Okay, now, 81, if you're telling me you're running a route, you can't, why would you go right into the center of his frame, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, but if you want to get out into a route, great. I'm good with him grabbing out on the left shoulder. With his left hand on the right shoulder. I'm good with that because that's an attempt to shed. I'm great because I do feel like 3 is presenting a scenario where he is trying to slow up 81. That's fine. That's legal too. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you don't grab. 81 has the legal right to shed 3. 3 has the legal right to obstruct 81. 3 could shed 81 if he's going to get the going for the ball, but he's really not. So I'm with you, DY. The only question to me is what happens at the end of this. Yeah. But I just feel like it's over. And I just, 81 just didn't present much of a route concept enough to buy a defensive hold foul here.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's crazy. But I just think these are so hard. I know that it's somewhat simple because you just look at it and you pretend like you just know it. But when it happens in the moment, I don't know. Maybe you guys. I know you guys.
Well, these plays are hard. They do. When you're on the field, they challenge you because they just. I mean, I really like the way we broke it down and ended up in this place where we just feel like both 3 and 81 had the right to do what they did, but it looks weird. And so you're just sitting there like, that can't be right? Like we're looking for something wrong. That's why it's so important on something like this. Whereas when we talked about the low block, we maybe didn't need to see a whole lot of detail. We're really going to need to understand the detail that we're officiating here.
Great point. Great point. So I want to double back. Corey, you're used to working some of this stuff more than me, obviously. Are you seeing this the same way as
Yeah, I'm seeing it the same way, but I also have another little wrinkle into it, and
love it.
We always talk about with defensive holding, using the two-step process. And so I arrived at not having a foul for either, because by the time I see what looks like even a minimal restriction with, how kind of 81 hitches, you find the ball's already on the ground at that point. Yep. And so by rule, you can't have defensive holding. You could have DPI, but then you realize, well, the pass is behind the line of scrimmage. So we don't have anything. I agree with everything you said in terms of I don't think there was much done, in terms of restriction. Mm-hmm. I think they both kind of, the big ugly nothing, whatever cliche you want to throw at it.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't. You're not going to have defensive holding behind the line of scrimmage very often. I shouldn't say ever, but very often.
Okay, good. That's it. That brings up a great point, because we've heard a lot. Look, if you can't have DPI, just stick them. I feel like this is a Texas thing. No offense, Daniel, but take offense. Stick them with defensive holding. If we can't have DPI, just stick them with defensive holding. Is that perhaps where we end up on this play, or what do you guys think? Not saying we should.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's nothing there, Brandon. I mean, we just got to look at the totality of the play.
Right.
There's literally nothing there. 81 is trying to hold up 3. 3 is trying to hold up 81. Neither one of them are trying to go anywhere. And then at the end, 81 wants to go somewhere, but by that time, the whole play is over, and 3 never really restricted him. Maybe he had a little tiny grab on the inside.
A little bit.
I mean, but that's after 81 tried to throw him. So, I mean, it's just
correct.
It's your two kids fighting, and you really don't feel like dealing with either one of them, and you just tell them, get the hell out of
here. What would you know about parenting? Your kids are grown and long gone.
Yeah, but they ended up pretty good. I don't like to admit that.
That's a good point. Yeah, they did, all 4 of them. Wow.
God bless Keisha.
Point. Yeah, right. She probably carried the load there.
Not sure what's going on here.
I just think it's a really good play, because it's so easy to have a flag on this play for something or the other or both or whatever, but it's just ugly.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure – that's a great point that, Daniel, you made, is in the last play, like, you don't need to see the whole play. Just see it out of the corner of your eye and guess and make the right call.
Wow.
But here, you got to see the whole play. I'm not advocating guessing out of the corner of your eye on any play. But here, you definitely have to see all of this, or else you have no idea. Because if you just come to what happens at the very end, yeah, it kind of looks like defensive holding. It kind of does. Or if you get to the start and 81 has that left hand outside the frame, up on the shoulder, and grabs and spins, which he does, kind of looks like offensive holding. It's just really neither. So that's this is just such a simple play at 14:36 to go in the first quarter with a lot going on.
Can I go off script a little bit here, Brandon?
That script that I sent you?
Yeah. The script that I pulled up, and I'm not going to say what else I did.
Did you read it? My email read receipt doesn't indicate that you ever read it. Astonishingly enough,
it emailed that the email was ever opened.
Unopened. Yeah. Go ahead.
So we saw it on the first play. Well, we think about, if I'm the deep wing on that first play, and I kind of read that deep wing's body language, the low block play. It looked like he knew he missed something. So you're probably going to write that on your card. This play right here, something happened, and we may think, you know what, dang, man, I probably should have, I don't know what I should have done. We're probably going to write that down on our cards. I think we talk a lot of times, people maybe think that we put ourselves on pedestals, and I don't know why I did this. But I took a picture of my card from 2 games ago where I worked. How do I share my screen? Where's screen share? Because I think.
Uh-oh. What are you trying to do right now?
Don't worry about it. Calm down. Just relax.
All right, just share your whole screen. Don't try to share a tab.
Just relax.
It
I got it.
never
Just
works
relax. I
for
got
you,
it.
especially.
So here's the deal.
Oh, there we go.
You can see my card.
Is that the USFL?
Look how many plays I wrote down. I don't want people to think that we sit here and we just talk about you need to be growth and development, get better, improve, self-evaluation. That's real stuff. I wrote down and this is only 6 of the plays that I went to look up about 10 plays after the game. 3 of these were fouls that I totally missed. But I just really want to just really reiterate that what we're talking about on here is not a bunch of BS. We actually, at least I know for me, I actually live and think about these things, and these are things I put into practice. On this particular play, I would have gone and written this play up on my card and said, I need to go back and look at it.
I totally agree. And I don't know about the culture of whatever your evaluation system is. Do you submit this play into that? We don't care about that. We don't care about that. We don't care about that. So
I'm evaluating myself, and I want to get better.
Exactly.
Because 9 times out of 10, whatever I write on the card, the grader is not going to find it. You know how it is.
Oh,
we'll get the. In fact, I heard that this past weekend. Oh, just don't let them find it. Now you're telling them where it is. I don't want to hear that kind of stuff. Who cares?
Okay.
So I just wanted to go off script a little bit and let people think.
Mad.
We really actually put this stuff into practice, and we're not just talking.
Hey, I had to. I don't know why. I'm not good at writing stuff down. I don't know why. I think I gave myself the excuse that I was a referee and I had a lot going on. So I guess I gave myself that excuse in the past. I created myself a little template to use during the game. Yeah. And so what I try to do is I try to after not every possession, because sometimes possessions kind of leak into other possessions like turnovers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We just keep playing, but at every break, whether it's a quarter break or I guess it could be a media break, I try to whip out that card and write down thoughts that I'm having. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I just created myself a little possession by possession template, and it's severely inaccurate, but it has helped me do what you just put up on the screen, which I could never do before, believe it or not.
So what I try to do is the same thing as you. As soon as I can get a break, first I just try to repeat to myself the time. I see the time. It doesn't matter. You don't have to think about writing down the foul, the quarter, the number, because you should be able to remember that stuff from years. The only thing that's really important is the time. So I try to just tell myself the time.
All you got to do is know the time-ish, because you're going to be able to find it.
You'll be able to find the play, exactly.
It's directional. It's directional data. So it's going to point you in the right direction. That's it. It doesn't have to be exact. And I think that a lot of guys and gals out there just really hyperventilate about, oh my God, was that at 14:36 or 14?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it was 14 something.
I guess, but that's 2 plays different, so it doesn't matter. Right. So we're going to look at every play anyways.
Maybe.
Well, and another piece that's probably not revolutionary but we've got new folks every week. Because of that, because we're just looking for that directional stuff. Don't find yourself in a position where you're trying to write down that stuff in between plays,
No.
And then you sacrifice something visually because you're trying to make a note. That's not a good look. Don't do that. Wait for a break. Wait for a timeout, team timeout, a quarter break, a media timeout.
So let's say there's a play that is a foul and we don't call it and we want to write it down. And let's say we write it down and it leaks into the next play. Well, that play just beat us twice.
Right.
Yeah,
we don't want to get beat twice by one play. Okay. We want to have full circuits on all plays. And if we get beat once, we got to just get beat. And then we got to be ready to go with all circuits on the next play.
Yeah.
So
you could take that to coaches and they could teach their kids that. You could apply that. That'd be a great lesson.
I like it.
Don't get beat twice.
I don't get beat twice by the same play. DY, I got a future in this gig, man. All right.
I think Daniel was being nice to you.
Self-proclaimed.
I really think he was being nice to you.
Okay, we're not done. Why are we going on the end zone view? That's interesting. I'm sure it'll make sense here in a second.
Ooh.
Oh. By the way, don't worry about the play number on the poll. Oh, why would the poll writer put a play number in the poll? That's a great question. Anyways, who holds? We've turned over a new leaf here. We're just asking foul.
We're just asking for holding fouls now.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So you can tell by the last play, foul or no foul. And then
No foul. Who holds?
you will just stick around. You probably get a little discussion on the process. So do we want offensive holding by the left tackle, the right tackle, both, or neither? It's a very complicated poll. It's not. Another stadium you'll get to frequent once more, at least.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know about frequenting.
I mean, that's the crazy thing. Of the 12 stadiums, I've already worked in 10 of them.
That's right.
So there's only 2 that are new to me.
That one season, we knocked out about 5.
Right? Yeah, I thought they were trading us at that point.
Yeah.
Well, I had already negotiated a trade.
Yeah, we know about trades.
All the terrible inside jokes.
Too soon.
I mean, my comedy is usually really good, but all the inside jokes you guys put out there are it's unfortunate for the audience.
Well, here's not an inside joke. You guys worked a bunch of Pac-12 games and were like the 7th best Pac-12 referee.
That was funny. I remember that season at the end of the year, and I know you guys will love this story because it doesn't involve you. But somebody called me and said, "Why did you what happened in your season?" I said, "Well, I ranked out number 2 in the Pac-12." It was amazing. It was a really good joke.
Killed it. Nailed it, buddy.
The Pac-12 got the national championship that year. That's the punchline, D-line. And I ranked number 2.
And you weren't 2. That's for sure.
No, I'm pretty sure I was, honestly. We worked half their games. We worked half the games on the Pac-12 schedule that year. It was crazy. Corey, we got texts every week asking if we had changed conferences.
Yep, we did.
Yeah,
we did, 100%.
We got to go to Pullman, Washington, Eugene, Oregon, Stanford. I don't know what town that's in. Palo Alto.
Palo Alto.
We were at this stadium. So there was a guy on our crew. It's so fun to think about all these different things that happened. There was a guy on our crew that worked a game at UCLA in this stadium, a college all-star game in this stadium, and the actual Rose Bowl that's also, by the way, held in this stadium. And he did that all in the same season between September and January. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So we're talking about right tackle, left tackle, both or neither for offensive holding. I should have told the deep wings to go to sleep on this one. I think we're no. Here we go. All right, Mr. Salam. We have. See, this is so confusing because the play numbers don't match up, so I don't know which poll to go to. 77% said the right tackle committed OH, and then 23% said neither, which means nobody thought the left tackle fouled.
Right.
So I don't know. Were you able to see the left tackle, the action involving the left tackle, and do you have an opinion on all that?
Well, I mean, it looks like a clear and obvious twist and takedown if you get to it late. But what we can see is
just see it out of your peripheral vision and trust your instinct. Didn't I say that before?
You did.
Yeah, not here.
Was number 80, whatever that is, 81, chipped the defender and causing him to go off balance. And 55 was just really in normal blocking stance and normal blocking posture, and the guy ended up going down, and it's nothing. It's literally a big nothing.
It's crazy though. I'm telling you, if I have no knowledge about the fact that 81 exists on 83 exists on planet Earth.
Clear and obvious foul.
Holding.
Take down all day long.
That is holding that I'm literally thinking if I thought like this, I'm getting fired if I don't call that. It's so obvious.
Twist and takedown.
I mean, it's just the most obvious holding in the world.
That's
But
right.
it's not.
It's not.
But it's not. So everything we talked about on that low block play, which by the way, the mechanics are similar.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. I mean, this is a pass play, but you do have to bounce your eyes.
Yes.
This gives me anxiety, I guess. I don't know how different these plays are. And
Well-
that's why I think it's a really good. I know we should have probably put these plays back to back, but that's fine. Just go, we can do that in digital space or whatever on the replay. So
for
I'm
me, Brandon,
a
these
little bit
are
nervous.
different.
I'm a little bit nervous. Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
these are
Explain-
different. And
talk me
help.
off the ledge.
Let me throw this at you and see if you agree.
Okay.
On pass plays, I think I tend to have more soft eyes
Yeah.
and then focus when I need to versus run plays. I tend to focus. And those three focuses are on different blocks versus pass plays where I'll have soft eyes and wouldn't necessarily focus on either block until I really needed to.
Yeah.
Which neither one of these really present as needing serious focus until the dude goes to the
Perfect.
ground and like, oh Lord, what did I miss?
Oh my gosh. Okay, good. And the big difference in these plays with the defensive alignment. So we do have a B gap
Yep.
defensive tackle, and then we have this player that gets held but not
Yep.
held. So that B gap player is nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Look at what
They just
51.
stand up and they patty cake. They're playing patty
Yeah.
cake.
So that's okay. We got to get off that from the
Can't work-
center
can't
judge
work that.
position or umpire in the backfield if that's what you're working. Or even if you're working traditional and that's your referee is working across, don't get caught up in what 51's doing to that defensive tackle.
No.
That's nothing. So we got to recognize that as fast as possible, right? Go slow, go slow, go slow. I hate that. No, we got to go fast. We got to get off that as fast as possible so that we make sure we know why this looks like a twist and takedown. And we can say, by the way, this is a good write-up on your card for self-evaluation. Ooh, handful of jersey twisting to the ground. Force came from the chip block or whatever you want to call that from the outside. Is that a chip block? Feels like a chip block. Football people will correct me.
I
But-
think that's a chip.
I think it's a chip. Why is it not
Okay.
a chip?
I don't know because it could be something else. Anyways,
Insecure football knowledge.
The dude grew up in South Dakota, Daniel. Just give him some break. Give him a
I don't think I'm insecure. I'm pretty sure I admit almost every session. I don't know
tonight
anything
there's
about
multiple
football.
points. Yeah,
I don't know anything
that's
about
what
football. I'm
saying.
trying to throw out more football terms, though. You've noticed that, huh?
Right. Well, I mean,
I think I'm doing a good job.
okay, yeah. It's a chip. I think I'm fine with that. I'm comfortable. It's a chip.
All right.
Chips.
So, anyways, let's get off that. Let's get off that inside block, get out to the outside block faster. That'll inform our eyes, and we can make this correct judgment in terms of the fact that it's not a foul.
But also, Brandon, let's not just don't totally leave 51's block. Just have it in the back of your head because you may need to go back to it.
Oh,
Because
sure.
if there's nothing else to do, don't just say, "Well, I'm gonna just not look
Okay.
at anything." Go back to
Okay.
51. So we got to be able to look at multiple blocks over and over again during that 2.3 seconds that the quarterback has the ball.
Yeah, if that. So here's my question for you, though, on this. And I know that people are probably wanting to talk about what happened on the right side. That's great. To me, it's more interesting on the left side because it looks like a foul that it's not. If you have no knowledge of what 83 did and you see that, are we just firing on this or what?
Man, I'm a simple dude,
it's a
and I
tough
really
question.
like to just say, if you see a foul, throw your flag.
Right?
But I like to see a foul before I throw my flag. I'm not one that likes to guess. I would rather miss something than be wrong throwing a flag because I
Yeah.
guessed on it. Even though I've seen this stuff a million times and I know what a lot of it looks like, I just don't want to guess.
We can see it a million times, but when we see it in real time with 0.2 seconds or whatever you just said to make a decision,
Yeah.
it's still hard.
Correct.
So I think here's something to think about. When a player gets held like this, goes to the ground, they go to the ground slower than this if it's truly holding, because
Mhm.
they're struggling and they're trying to get through the block, and then it
Mhm.
turns into holding. This
Mhm.
player just goes to the ground as if he's almost been shot.
Right.
You know, and when they go to the ground fast, it's usually because of another factor that's not a foul. They
Right.
stumbled over their feet. They got
Yep.
popped by a double team, like here,
Yep.
chip block. Yeah. So the speed at which he goes to the ground, if we recognize that, and it seems like he goes to the ground fast, I want to stay off that.
You can also notice the body mechanics of the offensive player. There's no hip flip. There's no torquing. All he's doing is getting pulled to the ground himself, which somewhat indicates that he did not twist and throw this dude to the ground. Because a twist and throw down, you'll see some body torque from the offensive player as well. This dude is kind of getting pulled to the ground, so he's halfway holding the dude up as he's going to the ground.
Right, and it'll just take longer.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we beat that up. What about the right side?
Yeah.
It does kind of present as a double team.
Yeah.
We're told 66 kind of blocks him as well. We're told if we see a double team to get off of it. Not great advice, by the way.
That's terrible advice.
I know. So 66 gets over there. But what do you see that has happened? What do you see that has happened to create, that our eye should be there?
I'm just gonna say. You didn't say it was a foul yet, but 15 clearly split through whatever was going, and he kind of was getting through. So it looked like the right tackle lost his good position at some point in time during that engagement.
Yeah, I mean, so different from the left. The left tackle was never beat.
No.
The right tackle clearly gets beat to
Yes.
the inside. Clearly gets beat, and look at how much longer this takes. And then there is clear restriction. Now, okay, look, we did say 77%, 3/4 of us said this is a foul.
Yeah.
Well, I see restriction. I agree with all that.
Yeah.
Almost there.
There's another aspect of this to evaluate,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Timing.
Well, I think it's more than timing. Before we get to timing,
Okay.
I see 17 players all above 300 pounds standing on top of each other. So
Okay.
I'm gonna give 73 a little bit of grace, even though he's beat. 15 is banging all into the other dudes, and he's halfway tripping with his right foot over the other dude. Man, unless there's a really, really overt action after he got through there, which I really don't see. I kind of see 73's left arm doing a little twisting action, but I don't see anything really overt after 73 after 15 got
Really?
through. I don't.
Wow.
This dude is tripping all over other people, and it's just
All
not
right.
good enough for me.
All right, here we go. Good. I love this because 23% of them, 23% of us said neither foul.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably kind of talking about that aspect.
Yeah. I think 73 has that meat hook out there, but I think he kind of lets it go as the dude is tripping and falling, and it's just a bunch of ugly stuff. Nah, put that out. Take 66 out of it. Open that field up a little bit. That's a clear and obvious foul, in my opinion. But because of the other bumping and all that other stuff, when those big dudes start bumping all into each other, it's just hard to identify individual overt.
It is hard. It is hard. So, of course, I've looked at this play 1 million times.
Yeah.
So I get to,
And I know you
the
probably think yes.
The calling official obviously gets one chance. So if you determine that, the defender here struggled through that opening and then got his feet all tangled up, and if you determine the restriction happened, I guess what you're saying is because he's restricted here.
He is.
So if you determine the restriction happened almost kind of simultaneous with his stumbling,
Then
the restriction happened after he stumbled.
Yeah.
Because in effect, the stumbling can make restriction look magnified,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
good. So we're on the same page there.
Yes.
However, if you determine the restriction is almost what caused him to stumble through that,
Oh, that's different.
because he actually, to me, he splits the double team before stumbling.
Okay.
All right. And then there's a bunch of stumbling with restriction, and all that kind of happens at once. And now I got to evaluate timing to the pass, because I do have restriction here.
Got you.
I did too.
So do you feel like the timing element, do you feel like the restriction occurred and the pass was gone with such timing that 15 would not have been able to impact the quarterback's pass at all?
No. I feel like he would have been able to impact.
Good. I'm with you on that. So if I had restriction, I would have a flag down as well. But I just,
and it's tight, by the way.
yes.
I think this is a tough judgment.
Yes.
So he's close enough. He's close enough
to impact that quarterback.
That restriction. So he's close enough in terms of distance and timing.
Yes. Even though the quarterback throws it to the other side.
Yep.
I think there's an element of time there, just enough that he could. And this is tough. So here. Okay,
so
we're on a great pathway here. DY, give me 1 second, and then go.
Yeah,
ahead.
you got it.
We're on a great pathway here on the last play and this play. If I throw this flag, and I just say, "Oh, he held him," and I did not evaluate what Tuta's talking about, right? The block by 66 coming over, did that really happen before or after? All this stuff, splitting the double team. If I did not evaluate the timing and I just threw my flag because, he got held, I may get a correct call, right? I may get a correct call and work the play horribly.
Correct.
So I love this play for that reason, because there's so much going on here. There, you can support, based on what you've talked about, you can support. I mean, there's a way to get to the fact that it's not a foul. I disagree with that. I think it's a foul. But if you call a foul, but you don't know why you called a foul, you're just as wrong as somebody just, not calling a foul because they didn't see it in the first place. So DY, I just wanted to make that point real quick and go ahead.
No, that's beautiful. Love every bit of that. I was just going to go back to like kind of the nuts and bolts of that block. Is the restriction, because I feel like he's getting restricted too. And here's where I'm going, is that where the restriction is coming from is going to determine when the restriction starts, which is going to determine the timing element. Does that make sense? So
yes.
Right. Like, so at what point does he start getting restricted? Because you may have him split and then start to fall a little bit, but then if he gets pulled down you know what I mean? And so I was just curious, because it's not the left hand, right? It doesn't look like there's a grab there from the left hand. It looked to me like he wrapped the right arm around the waist and kind of tackled him.
From behind.
Yeah.
Well, let's start here though, Daniel. One thing we know you can't do, you can't stick a big meat hook out. And that's the first thing the dude did. He engaged 15, even before the double team, even before the trip, even before the bump by 66. 73 stuck his big meat hook out after 15 took the inside hard move on him. You can't do that. Yeah. You can't do that. Yeah, so immediately he put himself in a position where it's like, okay.
So and that's why this is a great play and a great learning play for me. Because in my mind, I'm thinking about that right arm around the waist and him kind of taking him down. And that's what I don't know if the timing. Well, gosh, if it's that left arm and it's that real quick kind of pull back of the shoulders is what you're liking, Brandon. Is that right? Like right there?
Yes.
And that's clear. Clearly maybe an exaggeration, but to me, I agree that timing is well before the ball is thrown, and he's close enough without that, that he has the opportunity to impact that throw.
And it's
that's awesome. That's really good.
By the way, though, that happens very close in the timing spectrum to
still very close.
To 66 coming over and chipping him Or
Yes.
now I'm
Gotcha.
using-
Well, he didn't even chip him. He just tripped and
See.
fell. These are big dudes who literally are unathletic.
Well,
Sort of like yourself,
66,
Brandon.
60.
Put
I'm-
yourself
I'm-
like
I'm-
add.
I've
200
actually
pounds to you.
improved my athleticism in the
No, I've
last
seen you.
4 months.
He's still-
66. 66 puts his right shoulder into a perhaps accidentally.
Yes, he tripped and fell into him. Yes.
But see, I'm so conflicted on this play. I mean, I love this. I believe the referee called holding, which we don't actually talk about what people actually called very
Yeah,
often.
who cares?
But I just love that call here. But I'm so conflicted because I look at this play and I can think of a million different reasons why it's not a foul,
Yeah.
and I can think of less than a million reasons why it is. No, I can think of a million reasons that is a foul, and I can think of less than a million reasons it's not a foul.
So I'm really close to being on the smack dab in the middle of the fence about the fouling aspect.
Oh yeah,
Let me tell you what will push me over towards foul. If I can clearly see 73 with a good hook on him as he's going to the ground, I don't care about that tripping part. I'm going with a
Right,
foul.
right.
But I just halfway feel like 73 kind of let that hook go a little bit, but I don't
Yeah.
have any real evidence. But that's just
Yeah.
what my brain is telling me by looking at this, that he kind of let the hook go. But if he still clearly had that hook, even after 15 tripped and stumbled, that's a foul.
And I just think that because 15 beat him to the inside early, I want to put
Yes.
more weight in the hook.
And I'm with that. I'm with
Yeah,
that. Because you
yeah.
can't stick that
Oh,
meat
that's
hook. You can't
good.
stick your
Yeah,
big meat hook
yeah.
out there. You just
Yeah.
can't do it.
So give, like we give athletes the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. I guess we say this. I don't know if we've ever said this, but if sometimes people say on like catch, no catch, great athletes make great plays, which is, by the way, true. If this guy beats him, I do want to give him, if he's beat
Yeah.
early.
No doubt.
So
No
I
doubt.
do want to give the benefit of that if technique isn't great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough play.
It is. It
It's
is.
a tough play.
I think that's absolutely appropriate. I think
Yeah.
we should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want to close it up or do one more?
Let's do one more.
Sweet.
It's just a weird defensive. The defensive line coach can't like this though, because both dudes went to the slammed in the same gap. Like, what are they doing?
I know. I don't know
I
about
don't
it.
quite understand that.
We have so much opportunity. I guess I've said this a lot, or probably not recently, but I do believe this. We have so much opportunity to learn more about what they're trying to do.
Right.
We think here's what's so funny about officiating. We think they should know what we're trying to do. They could give two what's less about what we're trying.
They could care less.
The opportunity in officiating is to learn more about what they're trying to do.
That's correct.
Oh, that's right. For sure.
Because we don't have any idea.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna go any further on that.
Simmer
Let's watch this play.
it down.
It's a chip.
It's a chip. I know.
It's a chip
I
block.
nailed
It's a
that.
chip block.
It's a chip block, dude. I nailed that. This is a fun play. Okay, hey, this play involves a lot of different things. So there's no polls or anything. We're just gonna talk about this.
Oh.
I know we're going late. It's fine. I guess there's a guy running around without his helmet, so that's a problem.
He's not.
In some arenas, that is a problem.
Correct. I just want to make sure what the heck is this video doing, because we got the same angle twice. So
Technology department.
who was responsible? There it is. The end zone view from behind
Up to new
the
low.
defense ends up coming up. Okay, so we got to talk about the guy losing his helmet. And then you can talk about a lot of different blocks there down by the returner, which are interesting. So
Do
we
dudes
do.
think they're tough when they run around without a helmet and act like they're gonna go?
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's kind of the culture.
Yeah, that's
Come
it.
on, man. You're
wanna-
not tough. Just go sit. Just
I'm
get out
gonna
of the
get
play.
I'm gonna get a helmet sticker when my helmet's rolling
okay.
around on the 25-yard
Yeah.
line. I don't know why. I'm
You're
gonna
probably
get a helmet.
liable to get your head split wide open. You know, how tough are you then?
I don't know.
Look at stupid.
Right.
So, we have a lot to talk about on this play, but I don't know how much we want to get into it. Or do you just want me to do what I would normally do on this play, or do we need to worry about time? That's my question to you guys.
So you
Let's
say
just
you
do
talk too long, Brandon? Is that what you're saying? You normally just talk too much and just drone on and it takes forever?
So
Is that what you're
here, I don't know if anybody's noticed this. 141 sessions in, we like to dive deep into concepts that present on plays. I do have a lot. I have 2 illegal block in the back concepts to discuss near the returner. If you guys would,
They're
like to
very
break them
interesting
down.
too.
And I do want to start there, if you don't mind.
You want to talk about that hands to the face action?
I'm going to talk about the hands to the face because that causes the helmet off later.
Yeah.
There's 2 illegal blocks in the back, and none of them are called, by the way. I don't know why that matters. It doesn't. Do you guys see anything about these? Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, so there's that one right at the 30 as the guy tries to reverse field, and then there's one right after that, just upfield from that. I just think it's a good mechanics discussion, and it's also a good just conceptual discussion in that illegal block in the back category. Because do you have either of those guys in chase mode, right? Or from a blocking from a chase position? I hope the 2 blocks are clear. I'm probably not articulating what blocks those are.
No, you're talking about the first block I think it's the second gunner coming down. Yeah, it is.
Yes, that's the first one.
Yeah, that is not that one to me is not a chase position. Those guys never lose contact with one another.
Yeah.
And so if we have blockers that don't lose contact, then really you can't have a block in the back at any point. So.
And I would offer this, Corey. I think that guy almost the kicking team player in the white jersey puts his hand out to ward off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could ever have a block in the back if somebody's trying to ward the guy off. You know what I mean? I mean, just
I can't. Yeah, I don't see how that could ever.
I know that's probably everybody's like, duh. But I mean, to me, I don't know if I've ever seen something like that on a change of possession type of play. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just a really interesting play to me because it jumps out that I've never seen.
Now, the one in the middle of the field, the second wave block, that's about the 40.
Mm-hmm.
That one deserves some discussion because,
yes,
52, who is the player in red, seems to have good position. He's come from the side, but then he gets beat to a spot.
Right at the B40. Right at the B40, about position 2. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes.
And to me, that he does end up in a chase position. It's almost instantaneous.
Oh, man, I know.
But beyond that, it looks to be 2 hands square in the back.
It does. Now look at the position of the runner and how do we?
Where I was going to go with that. So
I wanted to ask because do we talk about 2-step process? This is more than a 2-step process, but goodness sakes, we gotta index the position of the blocker versus the position of the player getting blocked, and then quickly figure out where the runner is. Does that have any advantage?
I mean, to me, it definitely is something you have to think about. But on this play, the kicking team player, there's no chance on earth that he's making a play on this ball carrier. He's 5 yards laterally, and I don't think he's. I mean, that runner's well past.
Yeah.
There's no chance, and I just don't see any impact in that. I mean, do you want to go safety foul for a blocking back? I can't get there with that, but I could see somebody making that argument.
That's a good point. I don't know. I don't know. DY. I don't. Gosh, I'm happy to disagree with you like always because I usually win when I disagree with you.
Happy.
Disagree. I don't feel like this is the safety foul related aspect of illegal block in the back.
No.
By the way, now DY may say this is a foul, but if you're going to pass, I don't think. What am I trying to say? I wouldn't call this just because it's safety related.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No, and
where are you at? Where are you at on this?
Yeah, saddened to say that I agree with you because really the difference is this is really just a 2-hand shove in the back versus what we're really looking for in those instances is really more of a block, right? And I know that's kind of semantical and not even totally accurate because you can shove with 2 hands and it be a block, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right? Like he just pushes with hands versus using his body to block him.
Like a blindside block type of block.
Okay, so yes, but remember, it doesn't necessarily have to rise to the level of a blindside block for it to rise to the level of an illegal block in the back that we would still want to call. You tracking with me?
Right, but it has to be attacking and forcible. I think is what you are. That's the way, at least that I look at it. Is that what you say? Is that what you're saying?
I think there's space I think there's some gray there in between attacking and forcible, which would rise to the level of a blindside block, maybe, and then just a shove. Okay. That we would end up in the space where we would have a block in the back and say, look, I know this wasn't really material to the return, but because of the nature of the block, we still feel like it's appropriate to call.
Like if if the dude is running full speed and he shoved him and dude face plants 5 yards downfield.
Right. Yeah.
That's a safety deal. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
But not necessarily a personal foul. And remember, this is a shift philosophically we went through a couple of years ago, maybe more than a couple of years ago. I feel like we continue to say a couple of years ago with lots of things and forget that we've been doing this for a really long time. But that's kind of a shift that happened where it doesn't remember it used to, well, if it rises, what's that?
You're getting pretty old. That's a good point.
I don't know why I continue to do this with you all, but remember, it used to needed to rise to the level of a personal foul. That's not the case anymore, but this isn't there to even rise. I agree that if we rule this is not material advantageous to the return team, this is not one we would want to call just because we feel like that safety component box is checked.
Yeah. It's just a great point. I almost want to put this in the category too of did the player getting blocked almost turn into this? I don't know. Maybe that's a function of the runner being past him. I don't want to go so far as to say, well, I'm just going to not call block in the back because every time I see it, I'm going to make sure that, I just say that he turned into it because we have seen that happen as well.
I'll say, well, let me not say it. This is close.
I think it's close. What I'm saying is I don't want to say that. I don't want to say this is somebody who turned into the block.
No. I know. I got you. Yeah, but I'm saying even in terms of advantage, disadvantage, on video, it's different.
Super close, right? And if you pause it, he's on the same yard line.
Yeah, if we throw on this, it's really hard to look at this and feel like, especially as much as, some of you guys love your own flag so much.
Ooh. Wow.
It was a joke. Easy. It was a joke. It was clearly aimed at Tutan. It was a joke.
It wasn't a joke. It wasn't a joke. It was clearly aimed at me, but it wasn't a joke. And
here's the thing. If you pause the video, they're close to the same yard line. The problem is, laterally, he's I don't know.
And he's a long snapper, Brandon. Let's be honest. He has about the athleticism, probably 10 times the athleticism of you, which means 0.1%.
I feel like you bring that up multiple times per session.
This is at least the third time tonight. At least the third time.
So and this guy
every time it continues to play and play. It's just
the returner has a full steam ahead.
Yeah.
And this is the long snapper who is lucky to have the athleticism as me, especially now, based on what I've been putting out there in my workouts.
Attaboy.
Anyways, he graduated to the 10-pound dumbbells.
5.5 on the treadmill. Yeah, that's incline. No, I do think this has no advantage. I don't think this block has any advantage at all. I don't want this called. I just think we're all on the same page here, right? I just think we're struggling because it is a block in the back for sure. It's not one where he turns his back into the blocker. It's just not an advantage. It doesn't compromise his safety.
I think we have to we got to look at each block in its totality.
Totally.
And the actual action is one piece of it. And then the impact and effect it has on the offended player is the other piece of it. And when we put the action itself is clearly and obviously a block in the back. But when we look at the impact and the effect that it has on the impacted player, there's almost no effect because that impacted player has zero opportunity to make any impact on the runner. So
20 minutes ago, Corey said all of that in one succinct sentence and just kept going. I don't know. I mean, I love breaking this stuff down. Okay, so I know you have been waiting so long to talk about hands to the face.
Yeah.
The guy that gets his helmet off, somebody knocks his helmet off. So
We gotta enforce this penalty. That's gonna be the fun part.
well, we do have to enforce the penalty. Do you want to do that first, or do you want to? Honestly, we've got a couple of dynamics here. Who's going to see this? Who's going to see that? Right? See? Exactly. Who's going to see that? Is it even a foul? And then we got to enforce the penalty if it is a foul.
So, Brandon, you hate hands to the face unless the helmet comes off, which half the time when the helmet comes off, it's not even a foul. The dude's helmet is just literally not on.
That might be true, but I'm not going to buy.
I know that.
I'm not going to buy your
bizarre.
proportion of 50%.
It's bizarre that you think that way. I personally like hands to the face, and this one I think we can clearly see a striking and pushing action.
This is obviously a foul.
Receiving team player.
This is no question.
Yeah.
This is clearly a foul for hands to the face. I'm glad you agree.
Hands to the face.
I'm glad you agree with my standard.
You have no standard.
For hands to the face. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
So yes, but how do we see
Great.
it?
I don't know how.
Idea.
I don't know how we see it. We are focused from the referee position more on the inside.
Yes.
Now look. There's no threat to the kicker, but there is blocking action.
There's two blocks. Yeah, it's 2 blocks over there that we will be
I think
looking
I have to go back to my friends in officiating.
Don't you dare. Don't you do it.
Well, who else? No, but seriously, I mean, I don't know who else is going to see this unless the line of scrimmage official perhaps takes a peek back here. I don't know who else is going to see it. You think we can see it?
Playing the result if we want the line of scrimmage official to look in the backfield. Like
good.
That.
So the line of
because
scrimmage
they don't need to look back there.
No, they're watching the ball. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Do you think we can call this peripherally from the referee position?
No.
Because, gosh, that guy's hand is up there in his.
At least not me. You can, because you like anytime a helmet even starts like bouncing a little bit, you call it hands to the face.
That's not true. I called that I can remember, and I probably called one more that I got one incorrect. I believe I called 2 hands to the face in my career.
Really?
From the referee position.
That's
that I can remember. I can remember one.
Dudes are slamming dudes' necks, like breaking vertebrae, and you just.
I called 3. I called 3. I remember 3. I'm sorry. I remember 3 that I called, and but then one I called was clearly not a foul, and I got mad. So.
No, but I think on this play, you know, to ask a line of scrimmage official to take a play that deep to see a potential foul I think that's
because we always want them in the second wave.
Correct.
So what the hell is the second wave on this play? I don't know.
I love that 4-letter word. I don't know where the second wave is on that side of the.
Well, that 4-letter word is nothing compared to what you throw out there on a weekly basis.
There is no real second level, I don't think, on this.
So should we take them all the way back from the line of scrimmage position? I mean, it's something to think about. You know, it's something to think about. Obviously, if players release downfield faster, we need eyes from that position downfield faster, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's logical. So we don't just want to be cookie cutter, but if
we can't be right.
Right. If the gunner is the only guy downfield on your side, it's not that it might be helpful. It would be very helpful to support all these blocks on this side with your eyes from the line of scrimmage position. I just don't think the referee's going to see this. And
the referee's not going to see it.
I want to see it. I'd love to see it. Yeah. I just don't think there's really never a way we're going to be out that wide with our vision from the referee position when there's 2 other threats inside.
Right.
Shoot. Well, that's what I wanted to talk about. I agree totally that this is a foul for hands to the face. So now that we have a foul, do you want to enforce it?
Ooh, man.
Because this challenges a philosophy, I believe. Although the philosophy might not matter.
So Joe has a good question. Does hands to the face require extended contact? He says dude's helmet popped off with single contact. So
good.
If we have
Great question, by the way.
Yes, this is what I love the way Chris Coit described it. It's two P's.
Yes.
Prolonged or pronounced.
Pronounced.
Yes.
Yep.
And pronounced would basically be one of those jabbing type things, just a one
Yep.
stiff blow to the face that knocks the helmet off. It does not have to be prolonged.
I can demonstrate that for everybody in Baton Rouge if you guys want to see what that looks like.
Okay.
You're pronounced.
Who are you
hands
going
to the face.
What helmet are you going to be knocking off?
Well, we don't have to have a helmet.
You wouldn't
to
want to hurt your wrist by. I got a pretty good chin, so.
Well, look, I mean, nobody's proposing intentional violence. I'm just saying if we need to see what this looks like, that in Baton Rouge in a week and a half is the place to be. Let's do it.
A week and a half?
It's coming up pretty quickly.
Whoa, week and a half.
6 days from now.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty quickly.
Oh
I leave 6 days from now.
Some of us are not ready, by the way.
8 days. 8 days. Yeah,
I'm not ready. Not even close.
I noticed. Did we enforce it yet, or did I miss that?
No, we didn't enforce it.
We did not.
Okay.
First, we got to.
You're challenging philosophies.
Is this a foul that aims to defend the ball or defend the return?
Man, I don't know.
I don't know either. I honestly don't know. So perfect. So we have doubt. So where do we go if we're in doubt on that question? Because I don't know about this one. I'm leading towards it defends the return and therefore PSK.
Yeah, I am too. I am too.
Are we okay with that?
We're gonna have to be.
Is there anybody that can poke holes in that based on like some rule reference, which that I love?
To me, the only foul that really
certainly don't want to allow the rules to get in the way of what you feel.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well,
I think Brandon, when we talk about defending the ball, the only one we really should be using that for, to me, is holding. If we're not talking about holding, all the rest of those fouls, they're either during the kick or during the return. For me, maybe that's too simple.
I think it is too okay, you said I think it's too simplistic, but I'm not willing to deviate from that.
Right.
I think that's a pretty good approach. Because gosh, this one to me,
guys, I think
is he trying to rip his helmet off to go get to the punter? Perhaps, but I think I don't know.
He ain't trying. He knows he can't get to the punter that wide and that time and with that amount of time.
Well, then what the hell is he doing there?
He just wants to shove the dude's face in the dirt. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fine. I love this as PSK, but I do think there's an argument to be made on the other side.
Man, I can't give Team A the ball back on this. I can't.
I know.
I can't.
I know. That's criminal.
That is.
I mean, I think if you do that, look, it checks all of the boxes for a PSK enforcement. It just does. And so we can try to ascribe what we feel like, what we think about it. But at the end of the day, it's not a try or field goal. The ball's across the neutral zone. It happens before the end of the kick. B's going to put the ball in play. I don't know that you have a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why? Okay, that's a great point. Why, if it's a pull and shoot, then why would we go previous spot then? Just a question.
I don't have a great answer for that.
Interesting.
I don't.
So the location of the foul relative to the neutral zone is not part of the rule, right? I feel like that's a holdover from past. That's high school.
Yeah, that's
federation. That's part of if this was a high school game, this would clearly be previous spot.
Yeah, because the foul occurred behind the neutral zone.
It did not occur beyond the okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think this is really interesting. Yeah.
I see, and that's why I go with the holding thing. Hold on, Brandon. I got it. That's why I go with holding. Because you either have offensive holding or defensive holding. And defensive holding is going to be a previous spot enforcement, and we're going to have defensive holding if we have a pull and shoot. And that's the reason why I think
we talked about that before.
Yeah, those are the only two fouls. The only foul I think that we can't have that latitude. Everything else is PSK.
Yeah. I feel like wasn't there a time in time where it would say like during the kick. Was that what? Didn't that used to be a thing?
I think that did.
Whoa, what?
And we would
I
use-
always ask. I would always ask you that.
I think that used to be a thing because
well.
we would use that philosophy like on the Gunners where we would say, well, maybe it was technically before the kick happened if he got thrown down, but we're going to extend it because clearly it's against a return.
Exactly. Yeah, I know, but you didn't report. I was trying to point out the fact that you didn't report fouls.
No, I wanted to go back. I wanted to pull that back a little bit, Brandon. I didn't know that about Daniel because Daniel, I mean, you mentioned it in some session we were in that Daniel's one of the best officials that you know, which I would question. Either you don't know a lot of officials or you haven't worked with a lot of
well, I may not. But also, I never would admit that with him in hearing distance of
right.
So.
But so I did not know that Daniel did not report fouls well. Could you give us an example? Because this is interesting to me. I've never been around
early in his career, he got a little bit excited.
When he just holding green? If you want to know?
This is
exactly.
Nonsense. I refuse.
Now the fallacy would be that the referee was not also very excited to make an announcement.
I've seen some of your early announcements, Brandon. In fact, I might pull some up for next session.
No.
You know what? Okay, just shut up, both of you. What I did not do really well is
it's as if we're so good now, right? Like we talk.
That's right.
We talk so strong.
You know what I did? I truly sucked at was like blowing my whistle and making a whole lot of noise when I had a foul. I feel like I would come in and be like, "Hey, I had a foul," and you're trying to ready the ball for play. I'm like, "Wait, I've been blowing my whistle for 18 minutes." Do you want me to
tell everybody else what you sucked at? Like a bunch of things?
Yes. No. Well, maybe just one thing is fine. One thing per session.
Oh, one thing per session. Okay, so tonight's what Daniel sucked at was I remember when I said, "Hey, if you have like a change of possession, like you just need to point towards the other team. You don't need to like pump your arm 87 times." You still do that. You still do that.
Never been a pumper.
You were a pumper, dude.
I pumped once. And
I was like, what are you doing?
You couldn't let it go.
You're not you are not one who needs to be a pumper. Let's just say that.
I'm not a pumper. It was one time. I was excited.
No, I think it was more than once.
It was once.
Oh my God. We have had so much fun. And this session was fun.
This was a cool session.
Well, we didn't enforce the penalty. We're going to put the ball at the 16-yard line, position 3, somewhere around position 3. Hopefully, Daniel throws his beanbag in the right lateral position and the right yard line. So we had some issues
we had a few issues with that.
We had some issues with that. But this looks like somewhere around.
Do you guys feel 3. Like I feel like position?
Hey, guess what? We're the beanbag. Is if we're caught at 4, the beanbag's at 2.
Oh, shoot. Josh Bannerman got us. Wait a minute. We got 2 fouls.
I know. Because we hate this foul. We hate this foul.
I know.
All of us hate this foul. Everybody in the world hates
But it feels like whoever calls it is so proud of calling it. You're the proudest official.
Hey, look what I got.
He's playing without a helmet.
It is a foul, by the way.
It's a foul.
I think it's a foul. I think this guy, he's got to stop, right? I mean, by rule, you got to stop. So.
Yeah, because he could get his head smashed.
I mean, he can't run down there like he's trying to make a tackle. You can't do that.
And you can tell he's not going to tackle anybody.
Look at it.
No,
he's literally not going to do anything.
That's absolutely a foul.
If anybody hits him in the head, it's a foul on them because he is defenseless, right?
Yes, and he's dead. So those two things.
Well, there is that. That's a great point. So now we have hands to the face by B.
Although I was targeted once on the field without a helmet and was
your
just
inside jokes. You're
Daniel.
You have been full of inside jokes.
That's not an inside joke.
Honestly, you're not. But a lot of what you're saying doesn't hold up.
Wait, which part? The part that I'm okay?
Yeah, no, definitely not. Okay, we have hands to the face by B. We all agree that's PSK. Yes. We have UNR, by the way. Yes. UNR part PHO. is what I remember it as. Participating with helmet off?
I don't know.
I have
What?
no idea.
You're
Is
making
that
this-
not? Is not?
Without a helmet.
Is that not the
It
code?
can't be.
I have no idea what the code
I
is.
feel like it's PHO. Anyways, this
definitely.
guy. That's a great point, Josh. He is participating without his helmet. That is a UNR. Let's not
Yes.
make. Let's make sure we don't call that a UNS.
Correct. UNR.
Because we don't want to put a counter for disqualification for doing this.
Yes.
That would be unfortunate. That happened once, by the way, and that was not a good. Well, it was especially good because it wasn't our crew, but we were going at that time, and we all learned from that one. It's UNR. Okay, let's enforce this now. We do have a PSK hands to the face,
Yep.
and then a Team A participating without a helmet. So offset.
Yep. Or.
What?
Yeah. Let's make sure we have the or.
There's no
Or.
There's no or.
There's an or
There's not.
in the water. Got to keep rowing, baby.
There is an or.
Well,
Salam screwed this up before.
yep. The offset doesn't really even apply, which is weird. Why? Because
Well, it
we already
applies.
established Team B got the ball with clean hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
So
when PSK is applied, then yes, we're going to consider them to have gotten the ball with clean hands.
Yes.
Because if
exactly,
you're looking at that technically, you're like, well, no, they didn't. But
Exactly.
because PSK applies, they did.
Correct.
it's a PSK foul. They are deemed to get the ball with clean hands. So offsetting fouls are declined by rule, right?
Huh?
No.
Really?
No. Team B has a choice.
They do.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
They
they can choose to replay the down with offsetting fouls.
Correct.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Oh,
good.
now you're
I
making me
just-
scratch
I
my
was
head,
just- I was
Brandon.
just making sure y'all were up to speed.
Yep.
And then I
They
mean,
can elect
we're
to
2
have
hours and
offsetting
7
fouls.
minutes in, and now we're getting into penalty enforcement. So
It's about time.
we need to make sure we're okay on this.
I think the three of us are okay.
Yep.
I'm great. 100.
So you're telling me Team B has a choice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I totally-
on FR 108. It's under the exception for offsetting
Offsetting,
fouls.
or they can accept their foul.
So here's the
they have-
thing. Why?
yeah.
So let's just make sure we're clear. Why do they have the choice again? This is
because
so
of
important.
PSK.
It is because so it's because of PSK, but it is literally because why? I mean, PSK is part of the reason, but because they
It's
got
the
the
change
ball
of possession. They
with
got the ball with clean hands.
clean hands.
Yeah, that's the
It's-
reason why.
yeah.
I don't
that's
like.
it.
I don't.
No,
like that.
I do, DY, because PSK is clean hands.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Yes.
PSK it means that the ball is deemed to be
Yes. Yes.
gained-
I like it.
possession
I like
is gained with clean hands.
Good. You're right.
So we got an option here, and
So there's
on this
options.
particular play, we have to give the coach the option. Absolutely have to.
Again, whose
Oh, yeah.
option is it? Just quickly asking
Team B.
whose option? Yes.
Team B.
Team B got the ball with clean hands. They have options.
That's correct.
So we can either what?
Offset, replay the down, or we
Okay.
can go 1st and 10 for Team B at the 16, at the -16.
Just outside of that.
minus 16.
Yeah.
Oh, the end of the kick's the 31.
Correct.
It's
fine.
way back there.
Almost half the distance.
So if Team B wants to keep the ball, they have to basically decline Team A's penalty.
That's
and
correct.
Their penalty is going to be the only one enforced.
And honestly, I may not ask coach on this one because they're punting from way back there. I'll just say, you know what, we're gonna replay this down.
Really, and I think I would be more inclined to give Team B the ball. But with the penalty
On the
enforced,
15-yard line,
yeah.
Brandon?
No, I know.
16.
No, I'm serious. No, and I think that
Are you out of your mind?
No,
Which
yeah.
coach ever wants to play 1st and 10 from the -16?
I completely agree with you, but I'm just thinking I want to get the game going, and then if we don't
We're just
adequately,
gonna
What an
go.
idiot.
Coach.
I know. No, I'm serious.
But
No,
guess
in the-
what? When you
in the
hey,
moment-
listen,
In the
listen.
moment, I'm going to go PSK.
Oh,
And-
no.
we have to explain that. No, coach, you can actually have them. Don't ignore that idiot referee out there.
No.
You can have them re-kick.
No. We're gonna re-kick from the 20-yard line.
I'm
Come on,
not
man.
doing that by default. By default, I'm always enforcing the double, the PS. Yeah, I know
Okay,
that's.
I think
Yeah,
that's
I'm
why
not saying
I
that's
asked
good.
to get off your. I petitioned to get off of your crew that year because I mean, just decisions like
Guarantee you
that.
that's not what happened. Definitely
A lot of coaches weirdly want the ball. They don't want to put.
Not at
their-
the
not,
minus
not on their
16.
own 16.
I know, but they weirdly want. I'm telling you.
If you run analytics, I guarantee like
If
scores
you-
are
if
probably
you talk-
20% from inside
So
the
I know
20-yard line.
So I know the game better than you. So a lot of coaches don't want to take special teams out of the equation. I've heard
Not
that.
at the minus 16.
Mm.
You give them the ball at the 22. Okay, fine. I'm good with that. 25.
So
good
20
with that.
is the
20. Good
Mendoza
with that.
line?
Minus 16. Absolutely not.
25 and in, I'm asking.
No, I like that. I honestly like that. I'm just saying I'm going to default to PSK because usually the coaches want to keep the ball. But here I agree that I think the better choice is to offset and re-kick.
Yeah.
Some
and the
coaches
better
just
choice
don't
is to
wanna
have
mess with
Corey on the
special
crew
teams,
because
though.
he can talk to the coach easily.
Yeah.
And he throws that stuff out so quick. Hey, coach, you want 1st and 10 on the 16 or you want to replay the down?
Why do you think I traded you for him?
You didn't trade me for him. You traded the whole crew for him.
Pretty
Hey.
good bargain.
Daniel was
Yeah.
part of that package deal.
And you didn't have to say that. You just
At
did
his
that.
stage, at his stage in his development,
I'm
it was just-
bringing us all down.
Can we just go back real quick to the actual fact that I got earhold on the field on a punt play
All right.
while not wearing a
this
helmet?
is like
that
this
happened?
is like nostalgia night, man.
No, I just don't think that it's appropriate to pretend
I
like
think
that
you
didn't
forgot
happen.
this
Or
is-
making it up.
Was that before or after you touched the live ball on the punt play multiple
Well,
times?
that was before. Well before. Maybe that explains it. I don't
Oh
know.
my gosh!
I'll find the
All right.
video.
Did we handle everything on this play? I mean,
think
this
we
is a
did.
good play.
I
That's
think
a
we
great
did.
play.
It's a good play. All right. Well, we have at least 8 more plays to go.
Hey,
through.
listen,
So,
for the 3 guys still with us in the universe, thanks for hanging tough. We appreciate it.
but it's always available on the recorded session on the
I don't
on
think
demand.
anybody listens to those.
Oh no,
Oh,
they're
really?
listening. They're
Uh,
listening.
They peak ratings, man. Peak ratings.
My man John Gill's listening tomorrow morning on the can't remember if it was a treadmill or elliptical, but that's happening.
Yeah,
There's a
I've
lot of
heard
people that
that.
actually do that. They have reached out and told us
I've heard that too. Yeah.
yeah, which is weird.
What else would you want to look at on the?
I would
treadmill?
listen to music other than listen to you. I know that much. You
Listening
would put me to
to
sleep.
music
I'll
is
be on a
boring.
treadmill. That's like a danger.
I like
that's a
music
hazard.
too, by the way.
Okay, Brad.
Music and movies, that's your wheelhouse.
Documentaries. That's it. I don't think this can go on any longer.
No,
honestly,
No, it's dead. Just let it die.
it's funny. This was my favorite session of all time, which I always say, but it really was.
Oh, guys, Dan is really disappointed in the Bruins.
Oh,
Corey,
yeah.
you should reach out, man. You can commiserate.
What happened to the Bruins? I don't even know.
Oh man,
They crapped the proverbial bed.
They chose
Wait,
not to win. They chose
wait,
not
what?
to win.
they were the best regular season in the
In
history,
the history
of the
of the
NHL,
NHL.
and then gave up
Oh,
a 3-1.
I
In the
thought we were
first-
talking
they're
about-
like they
I
went
thought- I
a
thought we
la
were talking
Dallas
about
Mavericks,
UCLA.
right?
I thought we were talking about UCLA.
No,
sorry.
the Boston Bruins.
Oh yeah.
That's
What is a
that's
Bruin? Is a Bruin a bear?
It's a bear.
The
bro.
Bear. Come on, man. Where you
Why?
been?
Well, not talking about Bruins, obviously. So what? Why is
You
a
know,
Bruin
to
a bear?
put it in football terms for you, Brandon, it's like a team going 17-0 and then losing the Super Bowl, which I
New
think
England
that-
Patriots.
Oh, the Patriots did that.
Or
yeah.
it's like, well, no. It'd be
Well,
going.
that's
I feel
Boston,
like it'd be
too.
going
Yep.
17-0, and then
That's
losing.
Boston too.
oh gosh.
Oops.
Or the Mavericks. I mean, they weren't
where
the
I
best
met
team
Dan,
of all
by the
time, but they
What
got
did the
beat by
Mavericks do?
Nuggets.
Wait,
they did
now?
nothing, Tuta.
That's what I'm wondering. Who are the Mavericks? Do they even play basketball in Dallas?
No, they suck. They're horrible. But they were the number 1 seed and got beat in the first round, so that happened.
When? What year is that?
Yeah, when was that?
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm not an encyclopedia.
Are you talking about the Supersonics way back when Dikembe Mutombo was on the team?
No, that was-
Mutombo was never
that
on the
was a Nugget.
Supersonics.
No, that was the Nuggets over the Warriors.
No, it was the Nuggets,
No, the Nuggets over the
Sonics.
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 Sean
Yeah.
Kemp Sonics. Yep.
Yeah.
Mutombo was on the Nuggets.
Yes.
No.
Yes, he was.
He was on
For
the
years.
Really?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, I missed
He
that
was
part.
laying on the ground crying, holding that basketball.
I didn't-
Holding the ball over his head.
I liked him when he was on. What team was he on before that? The Hawks.
No, he ended his career at the Hawks, or he went from
Oh.
Denver to the Hawks.
What team did he come in on?
The Nuggets.
Denver.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh. Dikembe Mutombo came in on the Nuggets.
Yeah. Seattle was my team back then. That was when Gary Payton was there. I love Gary Payton and Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp, yeah.
That's a good. That was a great team.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of basketball, is your basketball team going to show up this series, Brandon?
We got some days off to regroup. I'm trying. It's like a reverse bandwagon for me, because now I'm trying to be part of like the hometown vibe.
There is no hometown vibe in Phoenix. Come on.
No.
Oh
Is
no,
that-
no, no. Well, hang on. Oh no, the Suns. The Suns are a big deal here.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Way bigger than the Cardinals
Huge.
and the Diamondbacks and the whatever the hockey team
Cardinals.
is. The Suns are a
Coyotes.
big.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. It was the Warriors over the Mavericks in 07. I knew the Warriors were involved. Mavericks were the number
Well, who was
one.
on that team?
Dirk Nowitzki.
Nobody. Wait,
Was
which
that
team? The
Nowitzki's
Warriors or the
rookie
Mavericks?
year?
What?
I don't know. Any team. I don't care. I mean, that's 07.
Dirk was on the Mavericks. 'Cause
Steph
he was-
Curry had to be on the Warriors.
Not in
In
No,
07?
not in 07.
Not in 07.
Is he not that? I know he's old, but I'm amazed he's not
Nah.
that old.
He's like 32, maybe. 33.
No, he's
It's
over
the number
35.
one playoff
He's over
upset in the history of
35?
basketball.
Yes. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes. He's old. Corey might be right. He may have been on that team.
No,
07.
That's 16 years ago.
no,
Dang.
no.
He's 30. If he's
There's
35,
no way he's 16
No.
years
no,
No, I don't
yeah,
think-
he would have to come straight out of high school. He didn't do that. He played at Davidson for 4 years.
Yeah.
Baron Davis and Steven Jackson. Look at
in.
Sergio.
Was on who?
Baron Davis.
Oh.
That's right.
Oh, Baron Davis.
Yeah, he used to be good.
Oh my god.
He played for the Hornets, man.
Yes.
Back when
Hornets,
when
yeah.
New Orleans Hornets.
That's the number one playoff upset of all time. So please, like with the just
What are
what
you
are you talking about? Because
talking
you don't know
about,
anything about NBA playoff
That's not
upsets.
the
Clearly.
number one
We don't-
player.
we
It's
still-
not the number one. How
you
about
have
Miami
to
this
establish
year?
what you're talking about.
So the Mavericks won 67 games, and that's only because they rested all their starters in the last 10 games and went 6-4 on the last 10 games of the season. They were dominant. It was
Oh.
Dirk, Devin
Are you taking
Harris.
ownership over the Dallas Mavericks.
No. I love that they lost. This is one of the highlights of my NBA fandom was that they lost the series. It's fantastic. Stack, Jason
Oh,
the
wow.
Jet Terry.
Oh wow. Oh, I remember,
I
all
remember
those
that.
dudes.
Oh, okay.
Stackhouse and Jimmy Jackson, were they on the same team?
What? In college or NBA? Jimmy Jackson played
House
for the
went to-
Suns.
Jim Jackson went to Ohio State.
Ohio
Jason
State.
Stackhouse
Kidd.
went to,
Stackhouse
Jason
went to
Kidd
North
and Jimmy
Carolina.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but Jason
wait,
Kidd.
Jason
and
Kidd and Jim. You're telling me Jason Kidd and Jimmy Stackhouse didn't play for the Dallas Mavericks?
Jimmy
at the same
Stackhouse
time?
isn't a human. He doesn't exist.
What's his first name? Jerry Stackhouse. What? Jerry Stackhouse played with Jason Kidd on the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, yeah, that
Oh,
probably.
Jamal Mashburn.
Oh.
Oh, that's
That's
really a
right.
throwback.
He used
Those are
to
the
fill
old
it
Was
up.
that their record-setting season?
No,
Oh,
no. It was Stack, Nowitzki, Jason the Jet Terry.
I feel like you said this already, Daniel.
I
I
did,
don't
but
think
he,
Brandon
wasn't,
was
he
listening.
clearly wasn't
sorry.
listening.
Well, I
Yeah.
really don't trust what you say most of the time.
Comprehension is probably a major.
This
factor.
this whole conversation started with you guys like just shocked and doubting that that this ever happened.
Okay.
Mark Cuban was there. He remembers.
Yeah, Mark Cuban. Yeah. He's a. All right, I think we've
Yeah.
pulled the thread on this one.
That was a good session.
Good session. Great. Thank you all. Good night.
Brandon Cruz's jump
Later,
rope
y'all.
routine. Dan Foreman keeps asking about your jump rope routine.
I'm
And you don't even know how
definitely
to jump rope.
I'm
If
definitely
Dan, if you ever saw Brandon jump rope, you would
I'm
not want that
definitely going to
routine.
share a jump rope. Did I talk about a jump rope
I have
routine?
no idea.
I have a jump rope routine for
You
sure.
can't even jump rope. I've seen you do it and attempt to do it. You
No,
look
double
horrible.
unders. Double unders.
Yeah, you look like you're about to break something when you do a double under.
You've never seen me do a double under.
I have.
first of all.
I have too.
When?
It wasn't pretty, but I've seen you.
You've never seen me do a double under. Plus, I can beat you at basketball.
That part is definitely not.
Oh my God. I've seen both of you dribble a basketball in Laramie, Wyoming. It's a joke.
We played basketball in there, man. I had a pulled hamstring.
No, that was me. That was me, Rich, and Daniel, and I think somebody else.
Oh my God.
All right, we'll get you on the beach volleyball court. You'll do great.
No, yeah, okay, I pass.
All
on
right. Good night.
that. All right, later.
Good night.
Later.
Yeah.